Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Underdog just dropped a new tournament, and you better believe your boy's going to be hopping in some drafts. It's going to be a high-stakes fantasy football tournament, $350 buy-in, $250,000 prize pool, $75,000 for first, $30,000 for second, $20,000 for third, $15,000 for fourth, all the way down the line. Let's go ahead. Let's get in this bad boy and see if we can fill this up. Now, of course, if you are new to Underdog Fantasy, please do not be getting in a $350 buy-in fantasy football league. If you are new to Underdog, go to the $3 drafts. I mean, if you really want to get adventurous, go to Best Ball Mania where it's a $25 buy-in, $15 million prize pool. Please don't immediately hop into a high-stakes draft, though. Now, there are 2 spots open in this league, so I understand a lot of people watching this have accurately determined that I'm an idiot who has no idea what the hell he's talking about. So if you have accurately determined how stupid I am and you want to get into this draft and take my money, you are more than welcome to, ladies and gentlemen. You can find that link in the live chat, find it in the description, find it in the comment section. And let's go ahead. Let's get this bad boy going. There are 2 spots open, and should we wait the 10 or so seconds for this to fill? There's only 1 spot. We're not going to hop in a Best Ball Mania. We can answer some questions as we wait here, though. Thank you so much for everybody coming out and hanging out with us today. Really excited to see y'all out here in the live chats. And let's see what happens. Vadim coming out says he's tempted to join, but he is too scared because he knows fundamentally I am better and have better results than him over the past few seasons. But he can sit here and he can talk all stupid despite not willing to put his money where his mouth is. It's all right, my man. But thank you so much, everybody else, for coming out. And this draft is filled. Let's get this going. We're at pick 9. Okay, pick 9 will be interesting. Had a couple drafts last night where we were at pick 9, and I honestly like the way that they went. We'll see if we'll be able to run it back. We'll see if we can get this Bijan Robinson value at pick 9. That's going to be the main thing that we're looking at, of course. But regardless, we will hopefully be able to find someone that we like, even if Bijan Robinson does not make it to us, because I am assuming that you sickos are most likely not going to let us get Bijan. But we are in here, and of course, if you want to get into our next draft, whether that's a high-stakes draft, whether that's just a $3 draft, $5 draft, we're going to be doing more of those before the season starts. You can find a link to Underdog Fantasy in the live chat description comment section. They're best ball drafts, so no time commitment at all during the season. That's why it's not going to replace your main fantasy football league, just going to be some extra fun on the side. And also, how I drafted 700 teams to win $150,000 last year on Underdog. And if you sign up with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. And only with promo code FLOCK are you going to be able to take advantage of the exclusive Josh Allen pick'em week 1 more than less than half a passing yard. And also, they have all the season-long pick'ems up right now. I know a lot of people are really excited to see the DJ Moore pick'em only at 800 receiving yards and only 4.5 receiving touchdowns. But very standard start. Versailles, longtime member of the Flog, goes CMC off the board here at 3. Ooh, but marker word coming out of the donation. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's move this over. And let me update the buy-in. This is a $350 buy-in draft. We're going to get another $350 buy-in draft going as well. Ben telling us sound is muffled. We had issues with our audio on Fantasy Pros earlier today as well. Can y'all please let me know if the audio is bad? If the audio is bad, y'all may see a man cry on live stream, but I mean, we did enough of that yesterday with Jonathan Taylor. Hopefully we don't have to do that again this year. And I'm sorry, I forgot that I turned Super Chats off for the other live stream. I believe we turned them back on, no? I think we should have it back on, unless I'm mistaken. Okay, Bijan Robinson off the board at 7. Let's move this back around. Stephon Diggs goes at 8. So never mind. We are not going to get Bijan Robinson out the gate, but we'll go ahead and we will take Travis Kelce at 9. Okay, I see everybody's saying that super chats are off. I'll see if I can get super chats back. No, they're. I think y'all just have to refresh YouTube. Refresh YouTube. I had them off at the beginning. I put them back on. Matthew's able to come out here and donate. Thank you, my friend. 10-team PPR auction draft. One quarterback, essentially just one flex, what we need to know. $200 budget. Thoughts on the budget allocation, other strategy, and overall thoughts. So generally, if it's going to be a 10-team league with only one flex, I would say we want to be going studs and duds here. I mean, generally, I want to take the last like 6 spots on our roster, even 7 spots on our overall team if we're including our bench, and only allocating 1 to 2% of the budget for those guys. And I would rather focus in on trying to get the elite level options out the gate. Like if we could go CMC, Travis Kelce, and allocate 45% of our budget just to those 2 players, maybe even getting up to 50% of our budget just to those 2 guys. Generally, we want to be overpaying for the studs in a 10-team PPR auction where you only have one flex, my friend. But Neil coming out says, why do you have Chubb ranked after Bijan with Hunt leaving and Algier getting work behind Bijan? Chubb to have a larger workload and equal O-lines. Generally, it's going to be because Bijan Robinson should have a much larger role when it comes to his receiving down skill set. Well, Nick Chubb should expand his role as a pass catcher, given the fact that, yes, I mean, you have no Kareem Hunt in Cleveland this next year. Still, at the end of the day, Nick Chubb was only at a 6.5% team target share last year. So even if that expands, you possibly have to be worried about him not getting to the same level of what you have with Bijan Robinson. Okay. Now, yeah, let's go ahead and let's start it off with Kelce and Adams. And Nicholas says, Best Ball Mania 3 winner in the 6-hole. Yes, if y'all don't know, in the 6-hole, that Daily Rojo team won Best Ball Mania last year for $2 million on Underdog Fantasy. They won $2 million on Underdog last year and now firing up the $350 drafts with a super exciting to get the draft against them. Versaire bumped against CMC, Josh Jacobs. 100% agree. I think you go Jacobs here at the 2-3 turn. Considering the fact this tournament just opened up, you don't have to worry about any other teams that possibly got him. I mean, at a better price point earlier on. But Chandler says, Auction Keeper League, $250 cap. Who are you keeping? $48 Madison. Hell to the no. $1 Rashad. $1 Gino. Oh, $48 Saquon. Okay, never mind. I was going to go, why would anybody in their right mind keep $48 Alexander Madison? So here, that's what, about 20%? Like 18% of the budget for Saquon Barkley. I honestly may rather have $1 Alexander Madison. So I think you may go with the $1 Alexander Madison because you may be able to spend 18, 19% of your budget and get Saquon Barkley anyway. You're definitely not getting Alexander Madison for $1. Okay, so Mahomes makes it down to pick 28. Obviously, it would have been an absolute dream to get Patrick Mahomes making it to us at 33 to pair up with Kelce, but that's just clearly never going to happen, especially not in a $350 draft. Now, Take Kim coming out and says, draft strategy for the first overall pick in a league where you start 3 wide receivers and 1 flex. Definitely going to go ahead and take Justin Jefferson there at 1. Afterwards, I want an elite level quarterback at the 2-3 turn. I honestly think you could go with another wide receiver at the 2-3 turn if you have a guy that you really like falling, or a running back. You have a lot of flexibility because it's a league where you can start 4 wide receivers. But happy to see you back out with us this season, my man. If y'all don't know, Take Him, long time member of the flock. But Metcalf, Keenan, both off the board, 29, 30. Okay. Amari Cooper off 31. Let's see. This team started Diggs, Jalen Waddle out the gate. They take it down. They slow roll us. Take us to the very last second, grab Josh Allen. Now, there's no way in hell that they were passing on Josh Allen, considering the fact that that was a team that took Stephon Diggs round 1. And they should be so damn excited about getting Josh Allen stacked up with Stephon Diggs there in round 3. I mean, that is the dream round 3 selection. I myself would have been pumped about having Josh Allen making it down to us with one more pick. Oh, they can't blame them at all. I'm not going to sit here and cry about them going through and getting the best player in the round, making sense with their stack. But that is awesome. Again, we're going to go Gibbs. I mean, I don't necessarily love Gibbs here in the 3rd round, but a lot of other people smarter than me do, so we'll go ahead and pull the trigger. Hashling and Slasher says, double RB, round 1. Do I aim for Pollard Jacobs in the 2nd? Pick 11 in a full PPR 12-team league. I would go Josh Jacobs there at the 1-2 turn, especially now that it looks like Taylor's not going to be viable for you, so yeah. I think you go ahead and I think you go Jonathan Taylor there, my friend. I'm sorry. I apologize. I think you go Josh Jacobs with Taylor no longer being viable in the 3rd round. I think it has to push up all the other all the other running backs at the same time. Okay. So let's move this down. Justin Fields off the board, 39. We will go ahead and we will take Christian Watson here. I mean, generally, I really like Christian Watson compared to all these other wide receivers. I think we will have some running backs that we like later in this draft. And just staying flexible in the early rounds, right? And putting ourselves in a position where we have flexibility with the moves that we can be making later on. That's the primary thing that we want at this point is flexibility to take value later in the draft. But ISO coming out says, I have the 11th pick in a 14-team PPR league on Yahoo starting 2 flexes. What strategy should I take? For example, are we going to go Saquon or target early wide receiver with CeeDee Lamb and Amon-Ra St. Brown? I would really love going like Barkley round 1 and then Amon-Ra St. Brown round 2. Issue is with a 14-team league, if we just go through and take a really hard line in the sands in terms of one position we're taking through the first 2 rounds, it will put us in a compromising position where there maybe at the 3-4 turn, we're going to have to take a player that we don't want to. And I'd rather not find ourselves in that position, my friend. And Dylan says, hey, Mason, what do you think of the team? It's a 12-team PPR where we have Tua, Rodgers, Eckler, Gibbs, Brian Robinson, Chuba. Wide receiver, we have AJ, Godwin, Kirk, Juju, Lazard. Tight end, we have Waller. I like the squad. Generally, I'm still going to go through and see if we can sell Waller for TJ Hawkinson. I was on Fantasy Pros today. They were saying that they would rather have Waller over Hawkinson. And yeah, if you can use that essentially as some liquidity to sell Darren Waller at the absolute highest price, I would be interested in that. Now, Pramod says, any suggestions or trade advice? It's a 12-team PPR where we have one flex. Lamar, Bijan, Brees, Montgomery, Charbonnet, Amon-Ra, Calvin Ridley, Christian Watson, John Dotson, Chris Godwin, Juwan Johnson at tight end. Overall, I love this team. Love the Lamar, Bijan, Robinson comp with the elite level wide receivers as well. The only thing I'd say is let's make sure that we're rostering 2 tight ends there with Juwan Johnson. And if we do get a sell-high moment for maybe one of these wide receivers where we can package like Christian Watson and Juwan Johnson and move for Mark Andrews, get the Lamar Andrews stack, it makes sense, but you're in a great spot. Okay. Let's move this over. And Aiden says, would you rather start Kupp, Pollard, Lamar, or Kupp, Hurts, best running back available? Okay. So would we rather have Jalen Hurts and Travis Etienne? Or would we rather have Lamar and Pollard? Can everybody spam the chat? Would you rather have Hurts and Etienne or Lamar and Pollard? Please let me know. Let me know. Okay. Jonathan Taylor goes 52. We took him twice in the live stream last night, 57-60. I think that from now on, I can't take Jonathan Taylor round 5. I already have 15% Jonathan Taylor. I think we're going to take Taylor. Earliest we can do so is round 6, but I would way rather have Jonathan Taylor in Best Ball Mania, where it's a super large field contest where we're shooting for the highest ceiling possible weeks 15, 16, 17. Here in this high stakes tournament, I don't necessarily know if you're as excited about shooting for that upside with someone like Jonathan Taylor. So I think Taylor's way less appealing in this tournament than he would be if you were looking at Best Ball Mania. But it looks like the majority of people are going to go ahead and take Lamar Jackson and Tony Pollard here, my friend. I mean, you definitely have some Jalen Hurts and Travis Etienne mixed in, but it looks like the majority are Lamar and Pollard. Now, Waller off the board. What's your report on McLaurin? Let's go Lockett. I think if it's Best Ball Mania, I go McLaurin, just the highest ceiling we could possibly get, weeks 15, 16, 17. However, in this smaller field, high-stakes tournament, instead, I think that we are a little bit more wanting to optimize for a higher median projection than a higher ceiling. So we'll go ahead and we'll take Lockett. Even though it's a tough spot. It's a tough spot. Now, Lasagna Lover coming out with the donation. Always happy to see you, my friend. And next question coming out from Nick says, hey, Mason, draft tomorrow, 12-team full PPR, pick 10. If Lamb is the best option round 1, should I take Pollard round 2 or someone else? If Pollard's the best option round 2, go ahead and take him. Like, I'm not going to be worried about pairing up CeeDee Lamb and Tony Pollard on the same roster. Essentially going through and making that one consolidated bet. I think you're completely fine to do so. Now, this team here at pick 60 goes ahead and takes Terry McLaurin 61, so we are not able to pull the trigger there. You have Dobbins going off the board 62. Shawnee has Fields at quarterback, running back Ramondre, wide receiver A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Chris Godwin. What are they doing? Ladies and gentlemen, we are one like away from hitting 300 likes in this live stream. Go down there, drop a like, and also let me know in the live chat right now, who are you taking with this pick? Who are you taking with this pick, ladies and gentlemen? I kind of want to go Evans. We got a Dotson vote. Pickens, Evans, Dotson, Judy. Dotson, Judy. We have some more Judy in here. I'm going to go out on a limb. Very few people in the live chat are saying Mike Evans, but I'm going to go ahead. I'm actually going to pull the trigger on Mike Evans here at Big 64. Similar to what we were looking at earlier on. I mean, if we are going to be looking at Mike Evans here, I don't necessarily know if he has the same 1 percentile outcome as Jerry Jeudy, which is something we should be trying to optimize for in Best Ball Mania, especially when that tournament had been open and people were going through and taking Jeudy at a much earlier price tag. Here, I think instead we are just looking for the higher median projection. I think Evans will have that higher median projection with the Jerry Jeudy hamstring. So let's go ahead and let's take Mike Evans. And WRM says 10-team, 2-quarterback, double flex, full PPR, where we have Lamar, Cousins, Diggs, Garrett Wilson, Brees, Khalil Herbert, Waller, Cooper, Ridley, Godwin, Dillon, Charbonnet, Flowers, Sky Moore. Better running back move. I mean, we are so loaded at wide receiver here that we could easily afford to go through and try to package together like, say, Chris Godwin and A.J. Dillon to try to get an upgrade to running back that way. I mean, even if it's a league with 2 flex spots, I definitely think that you can afford to package together one of those lesser wide receivers and get an upgrade specifically at running back later on. And Derek says trade Kupp and Devonta Smith for Jefferson. Probably not, my friend. Jordan says, quarterback, we have Watson, Goff. Wide receiver, we have Diggs, Keenan, Lockett, Pittman, Lazard, Elijah Moore. Running back, we have Henry, Mixon, Kamara, Warren, Bigsby, Ford. Tight end, we have Everett. Any changes? Generally, I definitely want to be rostering 2 tight ends here if Gerald Everett's our only guy. I would rather have the backup tight end than the backup quarterback if our QB1 is Deshaun Watson and our tight end 1 is Gerald Everett. So I think, yeah, we'll probably pivot off, drop Goff, and go pick up another backup tight end. Cameron says, my doctor said I will die if you don't hit the gritty for this $10. Okay, so everybody, I need you in the live chat to pay your condolences to get an RIP Cameron going in the live chat, as it looks like Cameron has about a day left to live. RIP Cameron. It was nice knowing you. Thank you for spending your last moments with us in this live stream. I do really appreciate you. Okay. Montgomery off the board at 79. Akers goes, we are going to go ahead and make the grossest selection you possibly could. We're going to take James Conner. We're going to get the starting running back for a tanking NFL team. I mean, I don't know what else we're supposed to do. It would have been very interesting if Akers would have fallen one more pick for us, but that team there does not want to give us any ADP values. So it is what it is. It is what it is. And White, Kamara, both immediately going as well. So even if it was a disgusting thing to do, it was probably the right thing to do. And nobody says 10 TPPR. Quarterback, we have Lawrence. Wide receiver, we have Evans, Higgins, Kirk. Running back, we have Eckler, Chubb, Dobbins. Tight end, we have Andrews. Should I package Chubb and a wide receiver for an elite level option at receiver? I would say no. If we could go like Dobbins and Higgins to get an elite level wide receiver, then sure. But I mean, Nick Chubb's already like a round 1, round 2 fantasy pick. Okay. Now, AWOL says, what's up, Mason? 12-team standard redraft league, pick 7. Chubb, A.J. Brown, Ridley, Brees, Fields, London, Swift, Gibson. Is this 12-team league? Gibson, Frymuth, Richardson, Elijah Moore, Tank, and Mims. Do you like? Yes, at least if this is Tank Bigsby at the very end, if it's going to be Tank Dell, definitely go ahead and cut Tank Dell. See if we can find someone with a little more upside. Love the team overall, my friend. And I would say once you have the Richardson breakout, we're going to be looking to sell Anthony Richardson. Quentin Johnston doesn't have great reports where it looks like Quentin Johnston is a wide receiver that may be fighting for competition with Joshua Palmer at the beginning of the season. This is why Quentin Johnston's fallen from being an early 7th round pick to now a late 8th round pick in these drafts. But I'm fine going ahead pulling the trigger on the guy that we really like this prospect profile of. Where with Quentin Johnston, this was a wide receiver that broke out as a freshman at TCU, dominated as a sophomore, declared as a true junior, went round 1 of the NFL draft to a team with the top 5 quarterback. It was pretty much all the boxes that we are looking to have checked. So we'll go ahead. We will pull the trigger on discount Quentin Johnston, even if probably running back makes a little more sense. But let's move this down. And Hank says, hey, Mason, 4-team. Yes, 4-team league. Okay, you should have had like 15 starting lineup spots if it was a 4-team league. Hurts, Chubb, Bijan, Chase, A.J. Brown, Kelsey, Amon-Ra. Great team because you have Hurts and Kelsey. If it's like an 8-team league or fewer, really the only thing that's going to matter is going through and getting Kelsey. Like if we're going to be honest, everybody's going to have great wide receivers and running backs. But ladies and gentlemen, we are 1 like away from hitting 400 likes in this live stream. It's a $350 fantasy football draft. Please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this stream. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be getting in more drafts tonight on the live stream. We're going to be getting in drafts tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day. So, of course, if you want to draft with us, you can find a link to Underdog Fantasy in the live chat, in the description, in the comment section. Use promo code FLOCK on Underdog. They're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. They're best ball drafts, so no time commitment at all during the year. So I drafted 700 teams, $150,000 last year on Underdog. Plus, only with promo code FLOCK, you can get advantage of the Josh Allen special pick'em week 1 against the Jets, more than less than half a passing yard. And also, you can go check out all those season-long pick'ems. I know a lot of people are going to like the DJ Moore one here with him at 4.5 receiving touchdowns. I'm assuming y'all are going to like the more than part there. But Frymuth off the board, pick 101. Let's swing this back around. So clearly running back is still in play for us where we're only sitting with Jahmyr Gibbs as well as James Conner so far through the first 8 rounds. Anthony Richardson goes 102. Richardson would have been someone that we would have looked at here at 105 based off the overall upside of his profile. Okay. Evan Ingram goes 103. No idea what to expect this team to do. What are they doing? They go Dobbs. I think we go ahead and take Zach Charbonnet as a running back that hopefully we'll see a receiving down role in Seattle almost regardless, and then have the premium handcuff appeal if anything were to occur to Kenneth Walker. I mean, he was a great prospect coming out of UCLA. Obviously, the situation is what's going to hold him down in these fantasy drafts, as he should be held down in these fantasy drafts based off that situation. Okay, so let's move this over. And Njoku goes 107. We're fine seeing tight ends go when we have Kelsey. But Jamalai coming out says 12-team full PPR where we have Watson, Ridley, Christian Watson, Jacobs, Pollard, Andrews, Javonte. And then on the bench, White, JSN, Flowers, Quentin Johnston, Bigsby, Hunt, Richardson. I got Deshaun Watson round 11 and Anthony Richardson round 13. Okay, if that was the cost, I'm completely fine with it. Love the team, and we have great running back production. We have high upside wide receivers. We have elite quarterbacks. We have Mark Andrews at tight end. Phenomenal squad, my man. I don't even see any changes we make on the bench. I love that. I love that. Okay, so let's move this over. Kincaid goes off the board at 110. What's the news on Tony? Chance to play week 1. I feel like I've actually drafted a considerable amount of Kadarius Toney over the past week. I mean, making up for the fact that we didn't take him for literally the first 3 months of this tournament. I understand we don't have him stacked up, and generally that's not something we're looking to do, but we will go ahead and take the naked Dak Prescott here. It is a smaller field tournament overall. With it being a smaller field tournament, it's not like you're completely dead in the water if you don't have that stack. We also have the potential to go ahead and get Jake Ferguson / Michael Gallup later on in the draft, so we could still stack Dak Prescott if we really want to. And it more so just comes down to the opportunity cost of taking Dak here, right? We're getting him after Juju, after Dalton Kincaid, after Dalton Schultz. Now, I will say it's weird drafting a backup quarterback in round 10, but sometimes you got to pull the trigger on him, right? Because what if Dak Prescott actually starts this next year? Or what if Trey Lance gets injured? You never know. Now, Joshua coming out says 12-team PPR Sunday draft. We're starting 2 flexes. 101, we have Fields, JT, Etienne, Pierce, Mitchell, Warren, Hunt. Wide receiver, we have Jefferson, Godwin, Deontay, Sutton, Johnston, Boyd. Tight end, we have Ingram. Was hoping for a JT trade. Oh, as I was, my friend, as I was. I think in the short term, we sit on our hands and set up a prayer that we can get by at running back. In the long term, I think once we get JT back, then we could be looking to possibly make a 2-for-1 deal to upgrade at tight end. But until then, we're going to be really locked into the roster that we currently have because it's going to be so hard to make any trades when we have Jonathan Taylor, right? It's going to be very difficult. Now, Iggy Biggie says, hey, in a happy BR 12-team league where we have Lamar, Gibbs, Madison, Akers, Pacheco, Warren, Jeff Wilson, Kupp, Diggs, Judy, JSN, Schultz, and Kmet. Should I trade Akers and Schultz for market? Yes, 100% go do it. Yes, perfect. I don't even think we're, elite at running back by any means, but that's a very fair price point to go get Mark Andrews. And on a Lamar team, you got to pull the trigger. Noah says, happy BR, 2 running back, 1 wide receiver, and 3 flex. What's the best thought process for pick 5? I think RB value increases, but unsure. If you have to start 2 running backs, you only have to start 1 wide receiver, and it's a happy BR format. You want to be bumping RB. I'd most likely be looking at Bijan Robinson or Austin Eckler there, assuming you have no CMC available to you. Okay. Let's swing this back around. Jamal Williams goes 127. Jamal would have been a great pick for us, considering the fact that we set ourselves up with Gibbs, Zach Charbonnet, so we really need to cover some production at the beginning of the season. Let's see what this team decides to do. They go Zeke. Okay. We're going to go ahead. We will lock in Elijah Mitchell as a running back that's going to see touches on a week-to-week basis, but obviously more upside than that if you were to have an injury to Christian McCaffrey. Now, if I was in a different tournament, I think you can make a very strong argument to go through and take Jameson Williams here at 129 and then get Jared Goff on the way back around at 136. However, specifically in this high-stakes, smaller field tournament, the upside that you're going to have with the Jameson Williams level player is not going to be as important for weeks 15, 16, 17 as it would be in a super large field contest such as Best Ball Mania. So let's take Elijah Mitchell here as our RB4. Lock in the usage that we have throughout the entire season, especially if we're trying to cover ourselves at RB. I think Devon Achane's also a little bit intriguing considering that you don't have to worry about the trade now with Jonathan Taylor. But with that being said, I mean, we already start off Gibbs, Zach Charbonnet. Are we really wanting to go through and grab another rookie RB here? But Darnell Mooney off the board 133. Rashee Rice goes 134. Goff as well. So this point is going to be a little bit of a different cost if we were to go through and take Jameson. I have drafted almost no Jameson Williams at all this year, just considering his cost that he used to be at. It seemed like people were only thinking about the long-term upside and not thinking about the realistic range of outcomes. I think considering the fact that we have Kelsey, tight end's not going to be too appealing here. And we can go ahead and take Jameson Williams, 136. Let's go ahead and let's pull the trigger. Maybe Jameson Williams does something here. We'll balance our exposure a bit. And yeah, hopefully he's fine. I mean, like I said, this isn't the tournament I would want to take him in. But also, you never see him going around 12, essentially. But now, right now, tight end, we are sitting with Travis Kelce. Quarterback, we have Dak Prescott. Running back, we are sitting with Jahmyr Gibbs, James Conner, Zach Charbonnet, and Elijah Mitchell. And wide receiver, we have Devontae Adams, Christian Watson, Tyler Lockett, Mike Evans, Quentin Johnston, and Jameson Williams. Okay. Now let's move this down. And Bo coming out says, last pick in a 10-team, happy BR. How did I do? We have Chubb, Barkley, Higgins, Lamar. Oh, beautiful. Amari, Hawkinson, Christian Watson, Judy, Rashad White. I love the team, my man. A phenomenal quarterback, a great tight end. We're not sacrificing anything at running back and wide receiver to get it done. That's beautiful. Okay, now MVS goes 141. It's kind of a spot where we want to see wide receivers going at this point, right? Crimson says, having a real hard time deciding which running back to take in round 2 of my 8-team league. We're going to go Barkley, Chubb, or Pollard. Taking Chase round 1. Thanks. So thank you, my man. I'll tell you in general, we're going to go ahead and take Saquon Barkley if it's a full PPR format. If it's a non-PPR league, then I want to be going and taking Nick Chubb. Dylan says, full PPR 14-team league, and I have the 6th pick. It's a snake draft. Any advice? 14-team league, I'm going to be a little more willing to go ahead and punt tight end. I'd be fine going with either a running back or wide receiver there in round 1, and then staying balanced as we go through the next few rounds as well. But JJ, longtime member of the flock, says, what do we think about holding JSN and Tajay Spears as a raw spot? How much of a ceiling would you project for them? Obviously, with Spears, you only have him in case you were to see an injury to Derrick Henry. JSN, I think he could go out there and be a low-end wide receiver 1 in fantasy. I mean, it would take a very long time. It would take until the end of the season. I think that JSN possibly, and I repeat, possibly, eventually, could be the wide receiver 1 in Seattle. I think he has an incredibly high ceiling. Mingo off the board, 149. Everett goes 150 for the Justin Herbert stack. Damian Harris off the board, 151. Damian Harris obviously is who we were looking at here. Okay. What is this team doing? They go Love, so we'll go ahead and pull the trigger on Van Jefferson here at pick 153. The thing is, if we were looking at tight end, it seems like we are in a big flat tier. And if we wanted a tight end in this draft, we're most likely wanting to go ahead and at least get someone to pair up with Dak Prescott, even if it's not the biggest deal in the world considering the fact that we have Kelsey. So we'll go ahead and we'll get the wide receiver when we can there with Van Jefferson 153 and possibly look to grab this tight end on the way back around. Okay. But Grimsey coming out says 10-team BBR pick 7. We have Bijan Chubb, Olave, Devonta Smith, Amari Cooper, Breece Hall, Christian Kirk, Kirk Cousins, and David Njoku. I like the team. I don't love punting quarterback in a 10-team format. I mean, I think Cousins has a very high floor, but a low ceiling, just given the fact he's not going to run the ball at all. So I probably would be looking to move on from Cousins if we can. In a package with like another wide receiver. I mean, with another wide receiver for a quarterback upgrade. Okay. I assume that we get Ferguson here. How far do you see Russ fall? We have no Broncos, can't take any Broncos. We already have an unstacked Dak, so I don't necessarily know if we want an unstacked Russ. So we'll go ahead and we'll get Ferguson here at pick 160. Okay, let's move this over. So now tight end, we have Kelsey, Ferguson. Wide receiver, we have Adams, Watson, Lockett, Evans, Johnston, Jameson, and Van Jefferson. Quarterback, we have Dak. Running back, we have Gibbs, James Conner, Zach Charbonnet, and Elijah Mitchell. Okay. Now let's move this down. Ab says 12-team PPR, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. Quarterback, we have Allen. Running backs, we have Pollard, Eckler, Warren, Charbonnet, Damian Harris. Wide receiver, we have Mike Williams, DJ Moore, Hopkins, oh my gosh. Not a super big fan of the wide receiver room. I would love if we could take like Sam Laporta and DJ Moore, get a slightly better wide receiver in return. I honestly don't even feel like we have to roster a backup tight end there when we have Dallas Goedert. If I'm looking to make a move, I just essentially want to take DJ Moore at a smaller piece to upgrade at wide receiver. And I understand everybody really likes DJ Moore, right? But if you look at actual projections just based off how bad this Bears offense is going to be, like it's hard to get there with the math for DJ Moore. I mean, if you look at the season-long pick'em that Underdog has with DJ Moore, they have DJ Moore projected at 800 receiving yards, 4.5 receiving touchdowns. I mean, if you think DJ Moore has more than 4 receiving touchdowns this year, you can come take it on Underdog Fantasy. And I know everybody's going to love this. I'll say just be very hesitant because it's hard to get there with DJ Moore with how low the passing volume is. Now, Pyrotech Boy says, I'm not sure about my fantasy football team. I would like to go through some trade advice. We have a 10-team league with both Lamar and Tua. Wide receiver, we have Chase, DJ Moore, Mike Williams, Cortland Sutton. Running back, we have Mixon, Taylor, Swift, Pacheco, Javonte. I mean, we have a lot of running back depth, so I think we're going to be fine. Really, the main thing I'm going to be looking to do is see if we can package together like Tua and DJ Moore to get a wide receiver upgrade. If we can somehow get to like Olave, somehow get to, Calvin Ridley, Amari Cooper, DK Metcalf, Jalen Waddle. I think that would be very appealing. But outside of that, I think you'll be fine based off the running back depth. Moonwalking says, what made you go Adams instead of maybe Pollard or Jacobs in the second round? Just because in the vast majority of these Underdog drafts that I've done, I have preferred going through and taking the late round running back values where generally you're not getting a ton of late round wide receiver values. So if you're in your like regular redraft format, then I'm fine if you wanted to go ahead and maybe instead of taking Devontae Adams where we did, maybe instead if you want to go ahead and take Josh Jacobs or Tony Pollard. It's just more so in these Underdog drafts, at least for me, it is very difficult for us to go through and find that kind of value when it comes to wide receiver later on. Bryce Young goes 172 here ahead of Russell Wilson. Interesting. At what point would we have to take Russell Wilson? I really hope we are never faced with this serious question, and thank God we're not, because he goes here 175. Thank God we don't even have to think about it. Chart goes, so we're going to go ahead and take Matthew Stafford. With Stafford, I don't think the range of outcomes with him is wildly different in comparison to what we have with Derek Carr. So I don't feel like we're sacrificing on too much upside overall. And we do have Van Jefferson here to pair up with Matthew Stafford. So I think it's an interesting spot here from a correlation standpoint. Parker coming out 180. And we're going to be getting in some more drafts after this, ladies and gentlemen, so don't go anywhere. And I'll essentially ask y'all after this one if y'all want another $350 draft or if y'all want us to go get in a $25 Best Ball Mania. Okay. We could have gone Carr and Shaheed, I guess, but you know what? At this point, considering the fact that it is a smaller field tournament where we are incentivized to just go through and have the highest median projection possible rather than the highest top 1 percentile outcome possible, we will take Derek Carr, pick 184. We are getting Derek Carr about 40 picks behind ADP at this point, and not super pumped about it, right? Because we don't have really any correlating pieces here with Derek Carr. And if it was Best Ball Mania, if it was a puppy tournament, then there you're pretty much just, dead upon arrival. Like you have no shot afterwards. But specifically here instead, with this being a small field contest, I'm fine going ahead and taking Derek Carr as a quarterback 3. Went super cheap to do so. We went Dak 112, Stafford 177, Carr 184. So it is what it is. Now, In coming out with a massive dono. If y'all don't know, In's been out here with us for years and years and years, saying 12-team app EBR keeper, where we can start up the 5 wide receivers. What are your thoughts? We went Tua and Goff. I'm fine if you want to have 2 quarterbacks here. A running back, we have Brees, Sanders, Damian, Devon Achane, Jeff Wilson. So not a lot of running back depth. Wide receiver, we hammered. And this is exactly what I want in this format. Wide receiver, we have Adams, Waddle, Pittman, Lockett, Hollywood, Elijah, Gallup. Tight end, we have Goddard, Juwan Johnson. Should we use a running back to upgrade on Tua? We got sniped on Anthony Richardson. Honestly, no. I think you're going to be fine with Tua. Goff, I think you can play the matchups. And if we get to the beginning part of the year and you realize, okay, I don't have enough production at quarterback, then at that point, we can go ahead and make a move. But I don't think we have enough depth. And overall, this is a league where you can start 7 combined wide receivers / running backs. So we're not necessarily wanting to go through and have that elite level quarterback. I would rather focus it on running back production. I'd rather focus it on wide receiver production. The only thing I'd say is if we're going to be rostering, say, 2 quarterbacks here with both Tua as well as Jared Goff, I wouldn't mind, my friend, if you wanted to go ahead and instead look to cut Juwan Johnson and pick up another wide receiver off the waiver wire or another running back off the waiver wire, just considering, how much value they're going to be with having that position filled out. Okay. Now let's move this over. Ladies and gentlemen, are we interested in Deion Jackson here as our RB5? I'm going to RB the rest of the way here. I'm going to go with a running back round 17 and a running back in round 18. So can everybody please spam the chat? What running back are you wanting at this price point? I see Deonta. I see Deion Jackson. I see Deonta Foreman again. See Deonta Foreman again. Deuce, Deion, Gus, Deion. It's like most people are telling us to go ahead and pull the trigger on Deion Jackson. Gus Edwards goes 200. We will start Deion Jackson. If he is actually the guy with no Jonathan Taylor early on, I think he could cover for us there when we have Gibbs and when we have Zach Charbonnet. I don't necessarily think Deion Jackson's a super talented running back, but obviously running backs more derived based off opportunity rather than talent anyway. So we'll go ahead and we'll take we'll go ahead and take Deion Jackson. Love the Keontae Ingram selection, 204. Keontae Ingram is a James Conner injury away from a 3-down workload now in Arizona. We got the confirmation with the preseason. I think Keontae Ingram in Best Ball Mania is super appealing in round 18 because not a lot of people have drafted him, so he has a little bit more of a unique selection. Desmond Ridder goes 206. I am going to do it this one time and this one time only. Generally, round 18, I'm taking a swing on someone like Kareem Hunt, Leonard Fournette. But this is the one spot where it possibly makes sense for us to take someone that I do not recommend you roster in your regular redraft league because the upside is extremely limited. But here with Deuce Vaughn, we have Dak. Vaughn can catch the ball. Dallas still hasn't brought anybody in. Deuce Vaughn did make the 53. So I'll go ahead and take him, and I will feel so damn gross about it. And this is probably the first time I've done this all offseason, ladies and gentlemen. But y'all have won. Congrats. Here is Deuce Vaughn at 208. Don't love the team. I think it would have been much better if we would have had some key running back values make it to us. Like, we would have had Cam Akers make it into us at 81 instead of James Conner. I would have been very excited about this squad. It was a tough spot. Tough spot to be in this draft. But let's go ahead and let's fire up another draft. And we'll get in another $350 draft later tonight, ladies and gentlemen. But let's take a little bit of a break. Let's get in a $25 Best Ball Mania here. This is a $25 Best Ball Mania, $15 million prize pool, $3 million for first place. The largest fantasy football tournament on the freaking planet. So let's go ahead and let's get in this bad boy. And Brandon says, Superflex Keeper League, PPR, we have Lawrence and Dak, Walker Madison, Olave Jamar, Devontae. Oh my gosh. Pat for tight end. Benches Hollywood, Akers, Gabe Davis. Beautiful team. The only thing I'd say is maybe trade Hollywood and Madison for a running back upgrade. But it is what it is. Now we're at 9 again. Hopefully we can go ahead and redeem ourselves. Hopefully we are able to have, I don't know, a better draft. Now, it's going to suck at the same time if we end up having some team that we're in love with at pick 9 in this $25 buy-in, when sadly, I don't want to say we whiffed on the other team, but I didn't love our team in the last draft. But we'll see, ladies and gentlemen. We will see. And ladies and gentlemen, we are currently about 10 likes away from hitting 600 likes in this live stream. So please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like. And Freddie says in a 12-team PPR league where we start 3 wide receivers, we have Hurts, Gibbs, Mixon, Jefferson, Olave, Watson, Ingram, Ayuk on the flex, bench, Richardson, Zeke, Brian Robinson, Bateman. Love the team. We're just going to wait for an Anthony Richardson spike week, wait for the Anthony Richardson breakout, and then try to package Richardson with either Ingram for a tight end upgrade or Ayuk for a flex upgrade, but solid squad for that format. Now, CPW says 18 double flex, 5 bench. Which side of the trade would you take? 103 and the 1103 or 207, 407? Oh, definitely in an 8-team league. Give me the 103. 8-team league, the only thing that matters is the highest ceiling possible, my friend. Troy says, hey, Mason, my roster submission post is gone on Discord. Where do I find my mini podcast you made for me? Go to the DMs, my friend. Go to our DMs. If you're not familiar with Discord, look up how to do that. And you should be able to see your team there. And if you don't see it, please make sure you shoot me a message. Okay, Bijan Robinson off the board at 7. So we are going to go ahead and take Stefon Diggs here at pick 9. Maybe this puts us in a spot where we like our team a little bit more. I always have a difficult time with Travis Kelce builds. It's generally why I'm not taking a lot of Kelce at like around, pick 5, pick 6. A.J. Brown goes 11. CeeDee Lamb off the board at 12. St. Brown goes. So we're going to go ahead and get another elite level wide receiver at 16. I've been drafting the hell out of Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams. Really like both these guys. This guy went Nick Chubb at 10. So where is he going to go? He goes with Tony Pollard. We'll take Garrett Wilson here. There are going to be significantly fewer Stefon Diggs, Garrett Wilson teams in Best Ball Mania if you look at how the ADPs line up in comparison to Stefon Diggs, Devontae Adams teams. But now, Gnarls coming out says Allen, Bijan Stevenson, Smith, Kirk, Kelce, Swift. And then on the bench, we have Judy, JSN, Javonta, Njoku, Dobbs, Quentin Johnson, Tyler Boyd. 10-team league. Trades I should look to make and any changes for week 1. Love the Allen, Kelce bookends. Love that we're focusing in on wide receiver, running back, upside down there on the bench. Outside of the David Njoku rush spot, I would love if we could package together David Njoku and one of these wide receivers, whether that's Quentin Johnston, Jerry Jeudy, JSN, and go get a wide receiver upgrade on that front, or maybe package Njoku with Christian Kirk to get a wide receiver upgrade there. And then with the open rush spot, bring in a running back. We're already rostering so many wide receivers. Now, we have Caps coming out, says, thanks for all you do, Mason. Trying to be more statistic-based with our picks this year. What are your takes on basing strength of schedule? Generally, with strength of schedule, I think it is so far down the list of importance of things that we should be looking at because it is very difficult to project out overall as well. So, yeah, I'm never looking at strength of schedule myself. Especially with how much variance there is in predicting defenses from a year-to-year perspective. Rob says, Miller, Bigsby, or Wandale for Jaden Reed. We have Love and Watson. If we could sell Wandale for Jaden Reed, I think you kind of have to at this point. And this is coming from someone who's drafted a lot of Wandale. Keep It Real says, a 14-team app PBR where we have one flex, Jefferson, Olave, Najee, Walker, Sanders, James Cook, Dotson, Cousins, Burks. Exactly what we're looking for, my friend. This is the exact kind of build that we want in that 14-team format. It's going to be harder to find wide receiver running back values later on. So this is where we punt tight ends. I think that we're very strong at running back, very strong at wide receiver. Obviously going to be a little bit weak at tight end, but we'll get through it. We'll get through it. Now, Allen makes it out of 25 to pair up with Jefferson, Ridley. Devonta Smith does go 27 to pair up with the Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle team. So that team at 3 should be pretty damn excited about starting Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devonta Smith. Not too many teams are going to be able to pair off the Miami Dolphins wide receivers together this year. Okay. Mark Andrews off the board, 28. Amari Cooper goes 29. Devin says, a league where we can start up to 4 wide receivers, 12-team app PBR, Burrow, Dobbins, Stevenson, Lockett, Sutton, Jefferson, Andrews, Flex, Jamal. I would love to see the bench on this team. On this bench, I think that you are probably prioritizing wide receiver upside. I think it's going to be a team that's solid early on in the season, but I will be a little bit concerned when you have Kamara coming back, Jamal's not going to be startable. When you have Judy coming back, Sutton may not be startable. And also when you have JSN coming back, Lockett may take a little bit of a dip. I love it early on, though. Okay, now let's move this around. Ramondre Stevenson off the board here at 30. Metcalf goes 31. Okay. Lamar goes. So once Lamar's off the board, I have no idea what the hell to do. We'll go ahead and we'll take Jahmyr Gibbs at 33, but I am so used to getting the elite level quarterback here with Lamar Jackson at the end of the third, the beginning of the fourth. Lamar is my most invested into player in all of Underdog drafts so far this offseason because generally I think he is the easiest guy to build around at the 3-4 turn, but seems like in more and more of these drafts now, Lamar Jackson hasn't been making it this far, and it's been a lot harder to draft teams here at the very end of round 3. Now, we're going to have to answer a couple questions without being able to bring them up on the screen, so I apologize. But John Wayne's 45 says, Mason, in a 10-team Yahoo with only one flex, we have Burrow, Pollard, Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Amari, Kelsey. Oh, love Kelsey pick here. Walker, London, Watson, Khalil Herbert. We also have Kamara. I would love to see if we could take, like, say, Drake London and Amari Cooper and see if we can get T. Higgins. Or go like Christian Watson and Amon-Ra St. Brown and see if we can get Jamar Chase. Making a move like that to get that stack there with the Cincinnati Bengals quarterback. Okay. So let's move this back around. So this team has Chubb, Pollard, running back. Wide receiver, they have Deebo Samuel. They go Drake London. I think we're just going to take Najee Harris here. It's a very difficult spot. And like I said, I mean, I've just become so accustomed to being able to grab Lamar Jackson round 3, Travis Etienne round 4. Lamar round 3, Etienne round 4. Lamar round 3, Etienne round 4. And it's so easy to do that. And I love my team so much when we can pull it off. At least it used to be easy to do it. Now it's almost impossible. But next question coming out from, I believe, Devin, who says 8-team league. No, we just answered that one. No, we didn't. Where we have Burrow, Fields, Pollard, Chubb, JT, Gibbs, Javonte, Dalvin, Jefferson, Ridley, Amari, DJ Moore, Kyle Pitts. Any moves just traded for JT. I mean, generally, I think it would be nice if we could go through and sell like DJ Moore and Kyle Pitts to get a better tight end here, just given the overall league format. I mean, in the fact that DJ Moore will never make a real difference in an 8-team league. So if we could sell like DJ Moore, Kyle Pitts, and in return get back a tight end like TJ Hawkinson, I'd really like that. But Luke says, drafting Monday in a 12-team league, I picked 7. I have the option to trade my 2nd and 4th for the 104. I have the 304, 305, 405 as well. What are you thinking? If we are in a league with only one flex, let's go ahead and pull the trigger. If it's going to be a deeper starting lineup, maybe it'd be a little bit more difficult. But in a league with only one flex, go get the 104. And China coming out says 10-team PPR. We have Allen, Walker, Lamb, Ridley, Kelsey, Odell, and Jamal Williams. Also have Pickens, James Cook, Quentin Johnston, Ferguson, Gus Edwards, Robert Woods. Any help? Cut Robert Woods, cut Gus Edwards. These are guys that really don't have the upside to move the needle for you. I'd say cut Jake Ferguson as well. I mean, when you have Travis Kelce, there's no reason to have a backup tight end. I think you can find running backs with more upside off the waiver wire, even if it's like Kareem Hunt. And Gail coming out says 10-team at PBR where we have Allen, Sanders, Akers, Chase, A.J. Brown, Kmet, Ridley. And then on the bench, we have Mike Williams, Drake London, DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams, Zach Charbonnet, Sam Laporta. What are your thoughts? Really like the team. I'm fine rostering 2 tight ends here with Sam Laporta, Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet's our first guy. We have the elite level wide receivers. We have the elite level quarterback. I would love to package together like Mike Williams, Cam Akers for a running back upgrade, but I don't know if it's going to be easy to do that. Nicholas says, do you trade Taylor and Sutton for Mixon now in a league with 3 wide receivers and 2 flex spots? I'd trade Taylor for Mixon. I don't know if I go ahead and add in Sutton because in a league where you can start up to 5 wide receivers, wide receiver depth's actually going to matter a little bit there. But Carter coming out says, hope it's good night, flock. Happy BR 10-team keeper league. CeeDee Lamb 5th pick or Garrett Wilson as the last. We got Goff off the waiver last year. Who should we be keeping? Okay. I'm fine if you want to do either or because I have CeeDee Lamb and Garrett Wilson in the same tier. 9 times out of 10, I'm going through and telling people to just take the best player available to you. So generally, I'm saying just go CeeDee Lamb. The 5th round keeper cost isn't going to be that much in a keeper format. But I mean, those guys are in the same tier. So I think it is up to you. And I don't think you can go wrong either way. Hawkinson on 54. So we're going to be in a very difficult position again, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh. Caden says, rate the 12-team no kicker double flex redraft league where we have Kelsey, Henry, Mahomes, Walker, Ayuk, Kirk, JSN, Johnston, Elijah Moore, Damian Harris, Jacoby Myers, Devin Singletary, KJ Osborne, and the Bills defense. I really like the top end. It really comes down to if we can get like a JSN breakout. You get a JSN breakout. I mean, we are in a perfect spot. Berg says, what do you think about going to RB at the 12 spot? If you are in a league where you only have one flex, I think it makes a lot of sense. If a league with multiple flexes, then probably not. And I'm about to need your help, ladies and gentlemen. I have no idea what the hell we're supposed to do here in the middle of round 5. Alexander Madison goes, is this a spot where we now take Terry McLaurin? Who did we take in the last draft? We could also go Christian Kirk. Kirk's not someone that I've drafted a ton of. Can everybody spam the chat? Who do you want here? Pierce, JT. Pierce, JT, Pierce. Okay. Did we get him? We did not get Pierce, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to go ahead and take Christian Kirk. I have drafted way more Dameon Pierce this offseason than I have Christian Kirk. I will say Kirk has gone pretty much at the 4-5 turn in all these underdog drafts this offseason. Whereas if you are looking at Dameon Pierce, we used to get Dameon Pierce at the 6-7 turn. So it's a little bit of a tougher spot to take him in this tournament. I agree with you. I think you can make an argument that he was the pick, though. Now, Eccentric coming out says 8-team league where we drafted Kelsey, Mahomes, Cup, Mixon, Ridley, Pacheco, Swift, Mike Williams, Montgomery, Ayuk. Who do we flex week 1? So running back, we're going to be rolling out Mixon and most likely Montgomery. I think you have to flex a wide receiver. We're going to be starting Cup, Ridley at wide receiver. I think we most likely flex Mike Williams, honestly. Especially if Quentin Johnston's not going to have a large role immediately. Okay. But Jahan Dotson goes 61. And by taking Kirk, we do put ourselves in the spot where we can take Trevor Lawrence on the way back around at 64. I'd way rather have Lamar round 3 than Lawrence here at 64, but it is what it is. We could also go McLaurin. McLaurin's another one of these players that pretty much went at the 4-5 turn in every Best Ball Mania draft up until this point. What is this team doing? Chubb, Pollard. They go Mike Evans. Who do we have on the... Honestly, I'm going to go Terry McLaurin. I think if this was that high-stakes draft that we were just in, where the tournament just opened, and all teams are going to be looking at Terry McLaurin this late, then I go ahead and I take Trevor Lawrence to pair him up with Christian Kirk. But considering the closing line ADP value that we're getting with Terry McLaurin here is 64, I think it actually makes a little more sense for us to go ahead and take Terry McLaurin, just considering the dynamic that we have with a lot of other teams not being able to get this ADP value on him. And ladies and gentlemen, only 10% of y'all have gone down there and dropped a like on this live stream. What are you doing? We have live streamed for 124 days in a row now at this point. If you have not hit that like button, fix your life. And of course, if you are not already on Underdog drafting with us, fix your life as well. We are drafting here every single night on the live stream. Have not missed a single day of drafting in God knows how long. But if you want to get into a draft with us, they're best balls, so no time commitment at all during the season. So I drafted 700 teams, won $150,000 last year on Underdog. And if you sign up to Underdog with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. And only with promo code FLOCK are you going to be able to take advantage of the exclusive Josh Allen special pick'em. More than less than half a passing yard week 1 against the Jets, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you are taking advantage of that. And they also have the season-long pick'ems that I know people like. I mean, they have DJ Moore here for 4.5 receiving touchdowns this season. But Tech Stops coming out says, no question yet, just saying what's up. I'll hit you up throughout the season. Good luck, fellow floggers. Happy to see you back with us, my man. Hope that you had a great offseason, and hopefully you really like your team so far. But Kevin coming out says, CMC, St. Brown, Waddle through the first 3. I have Fields round 5, but could have gone Allen in round 3 over Waddle. Honestly, I feel like you kind of have to go Jalen Waddle there. I mean, if you get the great value on Justin Fields later on anyway, I really like it. Caden says, oh, I have Dalvin Cook as well. Okay, I'm sorry, my man. Can we pull up your question still? Let me see. Okay, no, that was a long time ago. But so let's see. James Cook goes 71. Obviously, we've noticed James Cook moving up drafts a considerable amount so far. And Solid Jacob coming out. Welcome to being a flocker, my man. Super happy to have you and excited for the season with you. And Nevada coming out says 12-team at PBR. We have 1 quarterback, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, tight end, 3 flags. Okay, slam wide receivers here. Quarterback, we have Lawrence, Henry, Connor, Montgomery, Dalvin. Wide receiver, we have Diggs, Allen, Lockett, Johnston, Bateman, Rondell Moore. Tight end, we have Everett, Kincaid. Here, I actually would rather be a little bit more heavy on the wide receiver depth. I guess if it's a half PPR format, actually it's fine. Just considering the fact that in a half PPR league, running backs will be appealing to go through and throw in that flex spot as well. If it was a full PPR format, I would definitely say to go ahead and swing for some better wide receivers by selling those running backs. But I think you're fine in a half PPR league. Okay, Lawrence off the board, 74. If we would have had Lawrence making it back to us at 81, that would have been a dream. Michael Pittman off the board, 75. See what happens. Rex says 12-team PPR where we have Hurts, CMC, Akers, Swift, Hubbard, Garrett Wilson, Chris Godwin, Terry McLaurin, Hollywood, Burks, Sky, Hawk. Is my season over? Excited for you. Oh, my man. What are we talking here? I think you are in a great... You have Jalen Hurts and Christian McCaffrey. It's hard to say that you are ever in a spot where your season's over. I mean, it would be a little bit different if you followed us down and drafted Jonathan Taylor in 15% of your drafts. Maybe it would have been a little bit different in that instance, my friend. Okay, but Hollywood goes 77. Okay, we are close to seeing our guy. Flowers goes 78. I was not going to be looking at say Flowers here, 81. Completely fine with that. Are we in a spot where we have to take James Conner again? I feel like we are slowly but surely getting more and more James Conner in these drafts, which is something that I am not too excited about, if I'm going to be honest with you. James Conner goes 79, so we do not have to take James Conner. I want to see how many drafts I've drafted James Conner in. I have James Conner in 8% of drafts, so I guess we're just right in line with market here. James Conner at the 7-8 turn. Figured I'd have more, to be honest. I guess I took him in some high stakes drafts because I'm in a decent amount of entry fees. Captain Clutch, what are you doing here, my friend? We're going to go ahead. We're going to get our guy, Dallas Goedert. Y'all know I've drafted a ton of Dallas Goedert all offseason. Not stopping anytime soon. I think he outscores Zay Flowers. I think he outscores Quentin Johnson. I think he outscores Courtland Sutton. And you're getting the positional value of him at tight end. I mean, I'm pumped about it. You also only have to draft 2 tight ends, spin on your tight end later on. Brian says, Pats are gross for fantasy, but worth the triple stack in round 16 plus. 100%, my man. I mean, if you look last year, a lot of people were saying that, I mean, the Dolphins were gross for fantasy. And by no means am I saying that the Patriots are going to be the Dolphins, but, I mean, even though an offense looks gross right now, we could always be wrong, right? We may look back and go, oh, now that the Patriots finally have an offensive coordinator, I mean, we should have been way higher on them. I mean, we could be looking back and they could hit. Joe says, what's the main strategy for a 10-team PPR league? Is there anything you do specifically when drafting to give yourself the best chance of winning? If it's going to be a 10-team league with only one flex, you grab an elite quarterback and an elite tight end just because wide receiver depth is going to be super easy to find. Jack says, thoughts on Lawrence? Took him in around 11. Oh, if you took Lawrence around 11, it's a great value. The primary issue with Lawrence is I just don't know if he has access to the same level ceiling that you're going to have with those quarterbacks that can just run the piss out of the ball, such as like Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson, of course. I mean, those guys and their rushing upside just nutso. Now, Quentin Johnson goes 86. What is this team doing here? Did we have to draft next to this team in the last draft as well? I know that name was similar. They go Sky Moore. We'll take DeAndre Swift. With Swift, doesn't look great right now. I mean, a bunch of positivity coming out around Kenneth Gainwell. And with Swift, this was someone that we have avoided for a very long time. If y'all remember, tournaments opened up. DeAndre Swift was going at the beginning of the 6th round. Here, pick 88. I think it's a fine swing on an elite level offense. I think the Eagles do end up leading the NFL in rushing. Let me see how much Swift I have, though, because we have taken a lot of Swift as he's fallen over the past few weeks. I have now hit double digits DeAndre Swift. I have 10% DeAndre Swift. I think I'm just overweight Eagles overall. I have 16% Goddard, 11% Hurts, 10% Swift, 8% Brown, 8% Smith, 7% Penny, and 7% Gainwell. Yeah, so, I mean, we're pretty much in on this Eagles offense. Watson makes it down to 93. I have noticed Deshaun Watson falling a little bit as of late. Weird spot seeing Deshaun Watson fall this much, to be honest. But Chaos coming out says 10-team PPR with only one flex. Moving this down, I mean, we have Geno quarterback. Would love a better quarterback. Running back, we have Barkley, Walker. Wide receiver, Jefferson Wilson. Oh, that's Jefferson Wilson. Barkley is beautiful. Goddard, tight end. We have Gibbs, Pittsburgh defense. Drop the backup defense. Penny, Robinson, Kincaid, Rice, Johnson, Kyler on the IR. Any trades are fine. Drop the backup DST. I'm fine if you really want to roster Kincaid, but I would drop the backup DST and pick up another quarterback. We don't know if Kyler's even coming back this year. I mean, Geno Smith is a high floor player based off what we saw last season, but I don't know what the true ceiling is going to be for Swift. I'm sorry, for Geno. So, yeah, I don't know if we just want to roster Geno as our only quarterback in a 10-team league. Definitely rather roster a backup quarterback than a backup defense. But Joy Boy J coming out says 12-team full BBR. We have Hurts, Sanders, Dobbins, Jefferson, Metcalf, Hawkinson, Lockett. Who do I trade Lockett for in a 10-team full BBR where we have Lawrence, Pollard, Dobbins, Jamar Chase, Waddle, Andrews, Madison? Okay. So if we're looking to trade Lockett to the second team, I think if we could go ahead and maybe move Lockett in a package with Metcalf to get to Waddle, that would be very appealing. Or Lockett in a package with Miles Sanders to get to Tony Pollard. I would also look to do that if that owner is really wanting Tyler Lockett from you. Anthony Richardson off the board, pick 100. I would have been looking at Anthony Richardson if he would have made it to us at 105. Okay. Let's move this over. Gibson goes 101. Aaron, always out here, says, hey, Mason, 12-team league with only one flex but 3 wide receivers. What's the game plan? Should I trade for the 4th pick or stay where I'm at? I would honestly trade for the 4th pick, my man. Trade for the 4th pick, lock yourself up. An elite level running back, an elite level wide receiver, and an elite level quarterback there at the beginning of round 3. This isn't a league like your other one where you can start up to 5 wide receivers where we just want to be slamming wide receivers, but a league where we definitely want to be well balanced throughout. But yeah, trade for the 4th. Okay, Tony off at 103. So this team can't take another tight ends. So we're going to go ahead and we will take Pat Freiermuth to pair up with Dallas Goedert. When we have this combo, I don't think we have to take a 3rd tight end with this team. And honestly, we may be in a spot where we have to draft 3 quarterbacks, just given the fact that we've waited this long to take our first guy. So if we're going to have to take 3 QBs, I definitely don't want to have to take 3 tight ends at the same time. So going ahead and locking in Freiermuth, I think makes sense from a roster construction standpoint. Now, Frank coming out says 12-team full BBR 3rd overall pick with only one flex for our first pick. And what should we do with our next 2? Honestly, with your first pick, we're going to go CMC or Travis Kelce. I think you need to be pushing wide receivers down in this format. You're going to get an elite level quarterback at the 2-3 turn. And then after that, I think you want to stay balanced between wide receiver, running back. But I definitely don't want you to go like wide receiver in the first 2 rounds and then not be able to take advantage of guys that you have with, say, Drake London like round 7 later on. Adam says non-PPR was offered Cup and Mixon for Dobbins, Montgomery, Garrett. Hell yeah, take that deal. Even if Cup's worth a little bit less than a non-PPR, you do it. Benji says, I think you best. Oh, well, thank you so much for coming out, Benji. And I'm super sorry for missing that. Let me go ahead and see if I can find this for you. Oh, I'm sorry. Are the non-PPR rankings on your Discord website? They're going to be on flockfantasy.com. We're just going to make a post on flockfantasy.com, my friend. Okay, so this point, Cousins not really in play. We don't have any potential stacks in Minnesota. Say the same thing with Geno Smith. So we're not really looking quarterback. We're not looking running back. We're pretty much just, quarterback or tight ends. Running back or wide receiver here. Let's go ahead. Let's just take Tyler Boyd, 112. Haven't drafted a ton of Tyler Boyd this offseason. I feel like we have been taking a little bit more Tyler Boyd over the past few days as he's fallen. Just such a tough spot where I feel like there's really nobody that's exciting here. Now, running back, we're sitting with Gibbs, Najee, Swift. Wide receiver, we have Diggs, Wilson, Kirk, McLaurin, Boyd. Tight end, we have Goddard and Pat Frymuth. But ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go ahead and we are going to hop into a $350 draft after this. We have, I believe, 6 rounds left in this bad boy before we go ahead and jump over there. But we are right now 4 likes away from hitting 800 likes in this live stream. So please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on the stream and help us out, ladies and gentlemen. Aaron says, with the 4th pick, who should we get between Bijan, Eckler, and Tyreek? If it's a league where you're going to start 2 wide receivers, my man, I think you are going to go ahead and take either Bijan or Eckler. Honestly, I'd probably go Bijan, Eckler regardless. Out of those guys. And Bill says, greetings from the 10 spot from a fellow flogger. Let's go ahead and let's check out Bill's team at 10, my man. Thank you so much for drafting with us. And were you in the draft right before, making our life hell? Were you the team that took Akers right before us in the last draft? Hopefully not, but here we have Chubb, Pollard out the gate at running back. Wide receiver, we go Debo, London, Pickens, Evans, Brandon Cooks, Sky Moore. We go Dak unstacked there at QB. I'm assuming we're going to look at Gallup later on. We have Jalen Warren here, 111, building in some correlation with this Pittsburgh offense. My man, like the team, and hopefully we don't have to draft against you, Sam. Hopefully we don't. Or if you are in the next draft with us, hopefully instead you're going to be sitting over there at pick 1, pick 2, and we're at pick 12. Hopefully we're far away from you where you can't snipe us. But Chaos coming out says, also have Ridley in the flex. Would Watson be a good backup quarterback? Not much on the waiver wire. If Deshaun Watson, a backup, yeah, hell yeah. Deshaun Watson would be a phenomenal backup quarterback. Tate says, did you get Travis Kelce? In this draft, I got Travis Kelce in the last draft, my friend, in the $350 draft. Icy says 10-team BBR where we have Lawrence, Jacobs, White, Chase, Waddle, Debo, Waller. And then on the bench, we have Hall, Lockett, Njoku, Myers, Flowers, Devon Achane, Kyler. Any advice? Drop Kyler Murray. If Kyler Murray is on your bench and you can't put him on the IR, go ahead, get him off the roster. He's just going to be clogging a spot. I would trade Waller for either Kittle or Hawkinson. And if we could package like Njoku and Tyler Lockett together for a wide receiver, really excited about, I'd like it. And Aaron, if it's a league where you have to start 3 wide receivers, I'd probably pivot over to a wide receiver, to be honest. Okay, but let's move this over. And we can go Rodgers here, pair him up with Garrett Wilson if we want to. We could go Goff as well to pair up with Jahmyr Gibbs. So we'll go ahead and we'll pull the trigger on Aaron Rodgers as our first quarterback off the board. Get him stacked up with Garrett Wilson. I think that does make a lot of sense. Oh, I didn't even see that we had Brandon Cooks on that team. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Brandon Cooks, 82. Oh, yeah, then great Dak pick. If we paired up Brandon Cooks with Dak. I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. Jacko coming out says, just got a subscription for Flock Fantasy. How do I join the exclusive Discord? My man, thank you so much. And you'll see the Discord link both on your account page on flockfantasy.com as well as a button at the very top of the website. Click that link and you'll be able to go through and link your flockfantasy.com and your Discord account to get all the premium chats available to you, my man. But we're going to go ahead and we will take Devon Achane here. I mean, with Devon Achane, I haven't drafted a ton of them this offseason just because I have been worried about the Miami Dolphins going through and making a play for a running back. But it is August 30th. We're 2 days away from September, and Miami still has not brought in another RB. Still, they have not. Now, Powell coming out says, how many drafts did you do on your first year on Underdog, and did you break even? I know we've broke even. I know we actually were profitable year one, but year one I actually did way more private drafts. Private drafts are actually very easy on Underdog just because a lot of people draft as if they're tournaments and they don't really understand how you make the adjustments from a Best Ball Mania style tournament to a private draft. But last year was the year we went heavy on tournaments. We drafted 700 teams last year. You can see the video where we break down all the numbers at the end of last season. I don't remember them off the top of my head. We spent anywhere from like 10 to 15,000 on drafts last season and won about 150,000. But let's move this down. We have Darnell, Mostert, Van Jefferson all going off the board here immediately after we take Devon Achane. And Aaron says, just to be clear, a full PPR format where I start 3 wide receivers in a flex, should I get Tyreek? Honestly, I think you can go Tyreek Hill in that format. The only way I want it is if you know for a fact your league mates are going to be pushing running backs up the draft board an incredible amount, and you're not going to be able to get values later on. But more times than not, I'm just going to go ahead and lock in Tyreek Hill because it's similar to Underdog, right? Or if CMC falls to you. If CMC falls to you, you go ahead and take Christian McCaffrey. Now, Higbee off the board, 142. Kenneth Gainwell goes 143. Okay. Where did Taylor go in this draft? Taylor went pick 60 in this draft. Similar to the draft that we took him in yesterday. I don't know if I've seen Jonathan Taylor fall farther than pick 60. Us taking him at pick 60 yesterday was the latest we've seen him go on a live stream. I saw him go later in a weekly winners tournament, but in weekly winners, he definitely should fall later. But in terms of like Best Ball Mania, I think Jonathan Taylor pick 60 is the furthest I've seen him fall. But Juwan Johnson off 145. Higbee goes 142. Great for us to see the tight ends off the board clearly when we have Goddard and Freiermuth, right? Swing this back around. We still need quarterbacks here. I'm going to take 3 quarterbacks if our QB1 is Aaron Rodgers at pick 129. But Eccentric coming out says, run back another Underdog trophy, Mason. Yeah, hopefully we can have the same level of success this season. Full transparency, we probably won't. We got extremely lucky to win multiple Underdog tournaments last year. I was the only person on the planet to do it. And just understanding how math works out, probably not happening again, right? But we drafted Bijan, Saquon, Waddle, Olave, Lamar, Stevenson, Alexander Madison, DeAndre Hopkins, Jordan Addison, Kyle Pitts. Should we flex Stevenson or Madison? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to flex Stevenson. My man, love the team. Love the elite level quarterback that we have here. Generally, if we could take a wide receiver depth piece and get up like Hawkinson from Kyle Pitts, I'd love it just because it's an 8-team format. Love that spot, my friend. And the Citizen says, my draft for me went Chase, Cup, Adams, Gibbs, Connor, Javonte, Akers, Rashad White. This is where it makes sense to punt quarterback. If you can start off Cup, Davante Adams, Jamar Chase, I'm completely fine with you punting quarterback. I'm completely fine with that, my friend. Now, Roshan goes 150, so let's see if any of these quarterbacks make sense for us. We didn't take Christian Watson, so Jordan Love wouldn't be too appealing. We have Najee as well as Pat Freiermuth if we wanted to go ahead and take Kenny Pickett here at 153. Volksy says, Mason, why do you never live stream weekly winners? Because they are so different than a regular fantasy football draft that a lot of people that don't understand the adjustments that we're making for that style tournament are going to just, they're going to be lost. I don't want to go through and draft a weekly winners team and have somebody in the live chat thinking, not understanding that it's a weekly winners team. So we're going to go ahead and take Kenny Pickett here, pair him up with Najee Harris as well as Pat Freiermuth, that consolidated bet we've made. And Fantasy Gator says, have the first pick. Taking Jefferson, should I prioritize running back or stacking wide receivers at the 2-3 turn? If it's going to be a 10-team league, I definitely want to make sure at least we're grabbing one running back. And I would love an elite level quarterback there as well. Alex says, FF Snooks, a friend that drafted Jacobs because of you last year. Hell yeah, my man. 12-team PPR, pick 12. How did I do? We have CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson, Olave, Najee, Kittle, Dobbins, Swift, Dak, Brian Robinson, Quentin Johnson, Devon A. Tank Bigsby. Love the team. Love that we're chasing the high ceiling down there with those rookies at the bottom end of this bench. Great squad. I can't come up with anything that we should be doing to improve the team. I just love that team, my man. Let's move this over. Do we mix in a Jonathan Mingo selection here? Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's take Mingo. We don't have any rookie wide receivers so far. I mean, with Mingo, we're getting him at an extreme discount compared to where he used to go in these drafts overall. Y'all know I'm not the biggest Jonathan Mingo guy, but I mean, hell, Chark dealing with a hamstring injury. Maybe this, opens the door just a little bit for Jonathan Mingo to take that step. Now, Tommy says, should I trade James Conner for Kenneth Walker? Hell yes. The Arizona Cardinals look like they're tanking right now, my man. Just Evan says, I don't know who to start for week 1. We have Pollard, Gibbs, Akers, Dillon, then Hill, Ridley, Pittman, Flowers, Burks, Parker. We start 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, no flex. We have Lamar at quarterback. Our 2 running backs are going to be Tony Pollard and Jahmyr Gibbs, my friend. My 3 wide receivers are going to be Tyreek Hill, Calvin Ridley, and Michael Pittman. Will be interesting to see the role that you get from Jahmyr Gibbs week 1. But at least you get to watch him on Thursday night against the Chiefs. That will be pretty fun overall. Okay. Brian says, won 2-3 last year with code FLOCK, then lost it. LOL, my man. See, that's what I'm going to have to say whenever I promote Underdog Fantasy next offseason is I'm going to have to say, I won $150,000 on Underdog 2 years ago and then lost $20,000 on Underdog last season. So we're going to have to say whenever we go through and promote Underdog Fantasy going forward. But we don't have to do that just yet. We don't have to do that just yet. Until then, I'm allowed to say, ladies and gentlemen, if y'all want to get in these Underdog Fantasy Football drafts with us, we're doing this every single night on the live stream. They're best ball drafts, so no time commitment at all during the season. So I drafted 700 teams and won $150,000 last year on Underdog. If you sign up with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, only with promo code FLOCK on Underdog Fantasy are you able to take advantage of an exclusive Josh Allen pick'em more than less than half the passing yard week 1 against the Jets. So please make sure you are taking advantage of that. Okay, so Tajay Spears goes 167. Okay. I think we can go ahead and take Bryce Young later on as well. I mean, maybe that's another reason why that Jonathan Mingo selection made some sense. So if we swing this back around, we are still going to be looking at quarterbacks, right? I mean, this is going to be a team where we probably draft 5 RBs, 3 quarterbacks, 7 wide receivers, and 2 tight ends. So we're essentially grabbing 1 more quarterback, 1 more running back, 1 more wide receiver. Actually, we have 4 more picks. I'm an idiot. Maybe we go 8 wide receivers or 6 RBs. I think it kind of depends on what we do in this next round. Okay, Donovan Peoples-Jones off the board, 170. Chark goes 171. Not going to lie to you. DJ Chark is who we wanted on the way back around. If we could have had DJ Chark and then say paired up DJ Chark, Jonathan Mingo, and Bryce Young in round 16, that would have been beautiful. Okay. Curtis Samuel goes 174. Tank Dell 175. I have no idea what we want to do at this point. I mean, this is a gross range of the draft. This is disgusting, ladies and gentlemen. Zamir White goes. Yeah, tight ends are just plummeting. We cannot take a tight end here. Do we take an... No. We'll go Shaheed just because I have no idea what the hell to do. I do not know what we should be doing there, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that is a tough spot to be in. Deuce Vaughn goes immediately after. We did take Deuce Vaughn round 18 of the $350 draft, but that was when we had Dak. He fell to round 18. We're not taking him here, 177. Greg Dolch is finally off the board, 179. Hopefully we see some more tight ends go. We're going to make our pick, then go ahead and hop in the $350 draft. Taysom goes 180. Hunter Renfrow 181. We're going to take whatever quarterback falls between Kyler Murray and Bryce Young. Now, Kyler, I'm kind of fine having unstacked. Just given the fact the only reason you draft Kyler is you're sending up a prayer he's back by weeks 15, 16, 17, and has top 5 quarterback upside. But because we don't have any Cardinals, because Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals are like literally minus 130 to win less than 4.5 games, I can't do it. So let's go ahead. Let's enter in this $350 draft, ladies and gentlemen. There's one spot open in this draft room if you want to draft with us. There is one spot open in this room. Let's go. All right, we're at pick 12. Let's see if we can make it work. We got Versaire out in this draft with us again. Versaire nonstop coming out in these high-stakes drafts with us. And this is going to be... It's going to be interesting at pick 12. We'll put it that way. We'll put it that way. Alan saying pick 12 is the worst. I don't know if pick 12 is the worst. Kind of excited not to have pick 9 again. I didn't really like pick 9. Just the 3-4 turn has been tough lately. I really liked it when we go Lamar Etienne. But I know our probability of being able to pull off a Lamar Etienne turn here, slim to none, especially when Versaire's out here in this draft with us at 9. So let's see. Iban says, explain why JT shouldn't be valued the same as Alvin Kamara. Is if you're looking at Alvin Kamara, this is a running back that is now going into year 7. This is a running back that is on the decline in his career. They bring in Jamal Williams. They bring in Kondre Miller. With Kamara in a lot of these leagues, you're not going to be able to put him on your IR where you will be able to do so with Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor is still in the mix of his prime, given the fact that, hell, I mean, you historically speaking, see running backs peak at the very end of their rookie contract. Not to mention the fact that with JT, it's a running back that was the running back 1 overall in fantasy 2 years ago. Not only that, he was the 101 in fantasy football drafts last season. So... I don't know. I can't put JT as low as Alvin Kamara. I know a lot of people are advocating to put him there. But I don't know. Now we have Jefferson, Chase, Tyreek all off the board here. Garrett Wilson goes pick 5 in a $350 draft, ladies and gentlemen. Bijan Robinson, 7. Garrett Wilson, pick 5. So Wilson's not going to be available to us here. This is interesting. What does Versaire do? Versaire is Eckler, Diggs, A.J. Brown, Nick Chubb. Goes Eckler. Diggs off at 10. This is T.O. Goes A.J. Brown. So, I mean, we're not going to get any crazy values here. Let's take Chubb. Let's take Lamb. Let's just get a little bit balanced here with this team. In that other draft, we are going to go ahead and take Ty Chandler as our 5th RB. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, let's move this over. God, I thought once we saw Garrett Wilson go at 5, I was hoping that we were going to get another unconventional draft pick from someone. Don't know who that would have been. But like if we would have then seen like Devontae Adams go at 10, and we could have started off with like A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, or Stephon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb. That would have been awesome. And we have Versaire saying Eckler Devontae is like a warm blanket. I mean, Eckler, #1 flex player in fantasy last year. And Devontae Adams, #1 wide receiver in fantasy for the past 5 seasons. Now, Wyatt says 10-team Superflex full PPR with 6 points per passing touchdown. I got the first pick. Who would you suggest? I would look to go ahead, and I would honestly probably pull the trigger on Mahomes if it's a Superflex 6-point passing touchdown format. And then at the 2-3 turn, if we can get in another elite level quarterback, I would. If not, I think you stay balanced, right? I mean, it's going to be very dependent on what the rest of your league mates are doing in terms of how they're valuing those quarterbacks. Let's move this over. Calvin Ridley goes 21. Yeah, Ridley just continues to move up and up and up these draft boards. Johnny says, do you think JT will play? Yes, I do. I think it is in the range of outcomes. It is definitely a possibility that Jonathan Taylor doesn't play. But I think Jonathan Taylor is more likely than not playing this next season. Okay. Mahomes goes 22. Volksy says, why are you upset taking Chubb? He'll be the running back 1 to 3. The issue is with Nick Chubb, in my mind, it's just not a super unique start out the gate, right? There'll be other teams in this tournament that are able to start off Nick Chubb and CeeDee Lamb. I don't care as much about getting the unique start because this is a smaller tournament overall, where we are drafting more so to have a higher median projection than just a top 1 percentile outcome. But we'll see what happens. Higgins goes 27 to the CMC Mahomes team. Metcalf goes 26. You have noticed Metcalf moving up with the JSN injury. Honestly, Metcalf should be moving up with the JSN injury. DJ Moore goes 29. So, yeah, that team had 5 going and getting their guys, right? Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, DJ Moore through the first 3 rounds. Jay says Team 1 looks sweet. Oh, hell yeah. Team 1 looks great pairing up Smith and Hurts on the turn there. Andrews goes 30. You see a lot of LOL hot dogs in these high-stakes drafts. See a lot of Slick Willie in these high-stakes drafts. Young Creelo says JSN back in practice. Yeah, JSN back in practice and avoiding the PvP is like great news, but it by no means guarantees that JSN is playing at the beginning of the year. Lamar goes 32. Sadly, we're not getting Lamar. Versaire started Eckler Adams through the first 2 rounds. What is he doing here? Goes Deebo Samuel 33. Yeah, so wide receivers are going off the board pretty quick here. Ramadre 34. Gibbs off the board as well. So I think we're going to go ahead, take Travis Etienne as well as Christian. Actually, who do we want on the way back around? We may mix things up. Let's go ahead and let's take Mixon. I want to take Mixon this early in a Best Ball Mania tournament where teams were able to get him in the 7th round earlier this offseason, but this tournament just opened up today. I think taking Etienne and Mixon based off where these ADPs line up will be a little bit of a unique start out the gate. I don't necessarily think that we're sacrificing a lot of upside to do this at the same time. And if you're looking at where Jonathan Taylor is now at this point, I'm not interested in taking Jonathan Taylor here in this tournament. I would be if it was Best Ball Mania where the rest of the field went through and took Jonathan Taylor, say, rounds 1, 2, and 3. But yeah, Taylor, I'm not going to be in play at pick 60. And Taylor goes 38 anyway. Very interesting to see Taylor go at 38. Seeing Taylor and where he's getting drafted in these tournaments, honestly, makes me feel good about my decision last night to go through and draft Jonathan Taylor, pick 60 and 57. I don't know if we've seen him go later than that. And I'd way rather have Taylor in Best Ball Mania than I would in this tournament. Now, Nick coming out says in a 12-team PPR format where we have Kupp, Higgins, Ramadre, Sanders, Dobbins, Pitts, Daniel Jones, Ayuk, Herbert, Deonta Foreman, Russ, Greg Dulcich, Damian Harris. I would love a better quarterback than this. I mean, if it's a league with multiple flex spots, I think we're fine. If it's a league with only one flex, I'd love to trade for a better QB. But let's move this over. And ladies and gentlemen, we are 5 likes away from hitting 900 likes in this live stream. So please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on the stream. This is a $350 fantasy football draft. And of course, if you want to get into our next draft with us, we are drafting every single night on Underdog Fantasy. These are best ball drafts, so no time commitment at all during the season. So I drafted 700 teams and won $150,000 last year on Underdog. And if you sign up to Underdog with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you're going to get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. And only with promo code FLOCK on Underdog Fantasy can you take advantage of the exclusive Josh Allen pick'em, more than less than half a passing yard week 1 against the Jets. Underdog's also where you have all the season-long pick'ems that y'all see in the videos. I know a lot of people are going to like the DJ Moore line. DJ Moore pick'em higher than 4.5 receiving touchdowns. But Allen says started Eckler, Brown, DK. Oh my gosh. I'm jealous, my man. I would have loved that start in this draft. I would have loved that in this draft. But Ryad coming out says 12-team PPR keeper league. I have Pollard in the 4th, others keeping Ridley, Debo, St. Brown, Kupp, Olave, Jacobs, Hurts. What should my strategy be? 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Really just depends on how many flex spots you. I would love to get an elite level tight end if we can. If it's a league with only one flex. If the league where you have like the ability to start up to 5 wide receivers, you need to slam wide receivers, you know? So I think that's what you do. But Cole says, do you still get the Josh Allen pick'em if you used code FLOCK last year? Yeah, so the Josh Allen pick'em is going to be available for everybody Sunday morning. The reason it's not going to be available to you until Sunday morning is they have to manually run it through the system because it's only for people who use promo code FLOCK. So yeah, if you used promo code FLOCK 2 years ago, if you used it last year, if you used it this year, you will have that. It'll show up in your app Sunday morning. It's going to be the Monday night game as well. Okay. But Darren Waller off the board, 51. Okay. Damian Harris goes 52. Okay, we have some quarterbacks going. It would have been, I would have lost my mind if we could have had Justin Fields making it to us. That would have just been beautiful, but it is what it is. Let me remind myself, this is the high stakes tournament. This is a $350 buy-in, so we do not need to be thinking about where these guys used to get drafted in Best Ball Mania. The closing line value doesn't really matter here. John says, do you prefer Hurts in the third and Waller/Hawk at the 4-5 turn, or Andrews in the third? I would way rather go Jalen Hurts in the third and TJ Hawkinson, George Kittle at the 4-5. If Hawkinson, Kittle are gone, I'm fine if you go Waller. I definitely think you need to take Kittle over Waller, though. At least I would. Okay. Bulbasaur asking what percentage of teams we have CeeDee Lamb on. I have CeeDee Lamb on a considerable amount of builds. I mean, I personally have Lamb ranked over A.J. Brown. CeeDee Lamb scored more points than A.J. Brown last year from a per-game perspective. Plus, Dak was injured for some of that time. I mean, plus he's younger than Kenny Pickett. I think he keeps getting better. I have Lamb in 11% of drafts. And where I have A.J. Brown in 8%. Jerry Jeudy goes. So we're definitely going to go take Tyler Lockett and Chris Godwin here. We're going to get a couple wide receivers that have high median projections, and that's what we're going to be focusing in on with this tournament in particular. I think if it was Best Ball Mania, then maybe instead you're looking to go Terry McLaurin, someone that has an elite level ceiling at the very end of the season that also used to go at the 4-5 turn, so it's a little bit more of a unique pick. But I definitely think Lockett, Chris Godwin here is going to be the easy decision to make at pick 60-61, considering the fact that, I mean, we already have 3 running backs with Chubb, Etienne, and Mixon. Okay. We love India. Coming out, says 12-team PBR, wide receiver, tight ends, flex. Who are you picking at 5? Are you saying like your flex spot's only wide receiver or tight end? If that's the case, we want to be pushing down running backs. I'd like Kelsey in that spot, assuming we have to start at tight ends. If we don't have to start at tight end, I'd probably pivot to wide receiver with Tyreek Hill. Okay. Payoya coming out says, with your Hurts Goddard exposure, I've decided you're an Eagles fan, so stop saying A.J. Brown under CeeDee Lamb. Go Birds. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I wish I was an Eagles fan. I mean, I will say I won my first fantasy football championship with an Eagles onslaught stack. So, yeah, I mean, I wish I could tell you, yeah, I'm an Eagles fan. I mean, I've always been an Eagles fan. We're winning the Super Bowl. No, I'm not a fan of anybody, but it is what it is. My life would be fun if I was an Eagles fan. I mean, the Eagles are just a well-run organization top to bottom. Okay, now Alexander Madison off 67. You don't see Alexander Madison fall this far too often. Akers goes 68. Akers fell to pick 80 in the last draft with us. Versera goes Dameon Pierce, George Kittle on the turn. So Versera has Eckler, Dameon Pierce at running back. Wide receiver Adams, Debo, Christian Watson. Tight end George Kittle. Okay. Garen coming out says, should I trade JT in either Christian Watson, Mike Williams, or DeAndre Hopkins for DK Metcalf in a one flex league? Honestly, no. In a one flex league, like, just move up from Christian Watson to DK Metcalf, like 5 wide receiver slots. I'm not paying Jonathan Taylor to get that done. Okay. Sanders goes 71. Montgomery, Javonte at the turn. We have a very well-balanced start where we have 3 running backs that we're excited about. We have, I mean, a handful of wide receivers that are fine as well. So it's not like we need anything in particular to make it back to us here at pick 84. But Louis coming out says 12-team PBR. We have Lawrence, Eckler, Pierce, DK, Ayuk, Pittman, Andrews. Should I flex Odell, McKinnon, or Juju? Oh my gosh, I hate our flex here, my man. Can everybody spam the chat? I have no idea how to answer this. I have not begun looking at matchups. I don't like these options. Can everybody please spam the chat? Who would you rather have in your flex spot week 1? Odell Beckham Jr., Jerick McKinnon, or Juju Smith-Schuster? Let me know. We have McKinnon, Juju, McKinnon, Juju, Odell, Juju for the safe floor, Odell for the ceiling, Odell, Juju, Odell, Juju, Juju, Odell, Juju, Juju. Looks like most people are going to go Juju, my man. That's a tough spot. Okay, Lawrence makes it down to 79. I definitely would have taken Trevor Lawrence if he would have made all the way down to us. Is this a spot where I'm going to be forced to take freaking James Conner again? Wu-Tae Jang on the clock. It's a team that has Lamar Kelsey. So, I mean, they're elite at quarterback, tight end. Hopefully, they go James Conner. They go Dallas Goedert. They take the guy that we wanted, even though they have Travis Kelsey. Not going to blame them. I think Goedert is a phenomenal value in this range. Okay, Kamara goes 81. They're going to make me take James Conner. That's what's happening here. Welcome to the nightly edition of Mason drafting James Conner. We have him in 8% of our drafts. I feel like, honestly, it's too much, considering the fact this is a tanking team. Conner goes. So we'll take Rachaad White, and we will take Brandon Cooks. We're to take Brandon Cooks to set ourselves up with the Dallas Cowboys double stack. Please, everybody remind me to take Dak Prescott on the way back around. So we can take Dak, pair him up with a CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks. Rachaad White, we get some correlation in here with Chris Godwin, make the consolidated bet on the Bucs offense. But yeah, at least we're not having to go James Cook for the second time tonight. Let's go ahead. Let's move this back around. And Lewis coming out says a 12-team. No, we already answered that one. Freddie says 6-point passing touchdown format, 10-team league. I'm playing against Lamb, and I have Dak/Fields. Does stacking Dak benefit me somehow or start Fields? Not really. I mean, I'm never thinking on it on that end. The only time is if it was like a Monday night game where we're saying, okay, I'm up by 12 points, and we really just need to make sure that we don't have a complete catastrophe. They have CeeDee Lamb left. Am I going to go through and start Dak or Fields? Then at that point, you can go ahead, start Dak, neutralize him. But, I mean, going into the week, you're never thinking that way. I think you go ahead and just start the best guy for you. I'm going to be a little closer in a 6-point passing touchdown format, but I still probably go ahead and start Justin Fields over Dak. Now, our next question coming out from, I believe, John says, I'm pick 3 in a 10-team league with half a point per completion. Is Mahomes at 3 okay? If you know everybody else is going to be pushing up those quarterbacks, then sure, send it. Actually, I don't even know about that. Let me look up NFL leaders in completions last year. How far ahead of the field is Mahomes really? Okay, last year, I'm assuming Brady was at 1, no? Brady was at 1, Herbert at 2, Mahomes at 3. Herbert was well ahead of Mahomes. Interesting. Then you had Cousins, Burrow. But yeah, you do see a significant teardrop. I mean, QB 15's under 300, or QB 1's almost at 500. That's a difference between 100 points there just off the completions. So if you really wanted to, I'm fine. If you know your other league mates are going to take elite level quarterbacks. I mean, you're telling me the guy who leads the NFL completions is going to get an extra 250 points just based off his completions? And Josiah coming out says 12-team PPR where we have Tua, Jefferson, Higgins, Hopkins, Etienne, Walker, Hawkinson, London. And then on the bench, we have Pitts, Charbonnet, Rashee Rice, Jameson Williams, Devon A. Chain, Mecole Hardman. What trade should I be looking to make? I think we're actually really good at the top end of the roster. I don't think we need to be making any trades. The primary thing I'm just going to look to do is cut Jameson Williams if you have to burn a raw spot for the first 6 weeks, if you can't put him on the IR. And I would actually cut Mecole Hardman as well. I think you'll be able to find a better waiver wire option at the running back position. But give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back in literally a second. There we go. You didn't think I was going to miss my pick, did you? Come on. Come on. Frymuth goes. Does put us in a little bit of an awkward spot. And then I would have really liked Pat Frymuth here. I mean, obviously not the end of the world, but actually we may be able to make this work. Don't want to speak too soon. Let's move this up. What is this team doing here? They go Anthony Richardson. Oh, I would have loved having Anthony Richardson. Dak Prescott only have to draft 2 QBs. That's essentially what we were looking at. Daniel Jones goes. So we definitely have to take Dak Prescott. We're going to get Dak, paired him up with CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks. We'll take Dillon as our RB5. What kind of sucks about taking A.J. Dillon as RB5 here is everybody now sees the fact that we can't take another running back, right? So if this team here at 11 goes, you know what? I want a running back here at 131, but I know Mason's not going to take him, so I can just take a wide receiver Mason once and get our running back on the way back around at 134. So it's a tough spot in general. Okay. Now, Ben says, what do you think of our 12-team PPR league where we have Hurts, Javonte, Brees, Herbert, P. Ryan, Brown, Watson, Kirk, Gabe Davis, Adam Thielen, Nico Collins, Travis Kelce. Okay, I wasn't going to be a massive fan until we saw Travis Kelce. We have Kelce, Hurts bookending the roster. Perfect. The only thing I'd say is let's either drop one of Adam Thielen or Nico Collins to get a running back that we like with upside off the waiver wire. I mean, great team there. I mean, considering the fact we have Jalen Hurts and Travis Kelce. To have Jalen Hurts and Travis Kelce, it just puts you at such an advantage over the rest of the field. Okay. Now, Malachi coming out says 14-team full BBR where we have Allen, Etienne, Montgomery, Zach Charbonnet, Jalen Warren, Jefferson, Deontay, London, Nico Collins, Zay Elijah Moore, Mims, Jaden Reed, Hawkinson, Laporta. Thoughts on the team? Love the content as well. Thank you so much, my man. Say just in general, it's going to be very hard to get by rostering all these like super long shot rookies at the very bottom end, such as like Marvin Mims, Jaden Reed, Sam Laporta. We'd have a few of these names, but to have only these players at the bottom end of our roster is going to make it pretty difficult to make waiver wire moves early on at the beginning of the season. I'm fine with it for the time being, considering the fact this is a 14-team format. But the second that Laporta like possibly sees a spike, if we can go through and look to sell him in a package and only have Hawkinson, I think that would be interesting. And someone may make that move, obviously. I mean, it's going to be hard for everybody to have a tight end they feel comfortable with in a 14-team league. Okay, Bigsby off the board, 120. And Braden says 20-team league where we have Goff, Dobbins, McKinnon, Tyreek, Keenan, Andrews, Kirk, and then off the bench, Mitchell, Devon Achane, Marvin Mims. What moves should we be looking to make? 20-team league is going to be very difficult to go through and make 2-for-1 deals. You're almost going to be looking to do the opposite. Obviously, I'd really like a better running back if we get one. 20-team league, I'm going to be more willing to punt tight end. If we could trade like Andrews for a running back that we really like we can go through and trade Andrews for like Jacobs or even like Etienne, Gibbs, or Madre. I actually maybe would do that. And I'd rather just punt tight end. Lewis says Kadarius over Juju and Odell. No, I mean, Kadarius you need to see week 1. With Kadarius Toney, we don't even know if he's going to be good to go week 1. Reports are saying he may, but by no means is it a guarantee. Okay, Rashee Rice, Alan Lazard off the board, 124, 125. So we don't want to see running backs on the way back around. I mean, it's going to be very difficult for us to get away with taking an RB. I mean, when it comes to what we have at quarterback, Jared Goff not really in play, right? Unless maybe Jameson falls and we go like Goff and Jameson. But real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we are 1 like away from hitting 1,000 likes on this live stream. So if you want to be our 1,000th like of the stream, please make sure you go down there, drop a like on the live stream and help us out. Zay Jones goes 127. Oh, this is brutal if we see Jamal Williams make it to us. If we see Jamal Williams make it to us, our decision to take A.J. Dillon where we did was horrendous. Horrendous pick if Jamal Williams makes it here. Yeah, looks like it's going to happen. Let's crash Rich. Crash Rich. assuming, considering the fact it's in a $350 best ball league, it's supposed to say cash rich. At least I would assume. But you know what they say about assuming. Because Darnell Mooney, brutal. Laporta off the board as well. Looks like we're betting on the Detroit Lions here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take Goff and Jameson Williams on the same squad. As I've mentioned previously, I do not like Jameson Williams in this tournament. This tournament's not just about optimizing for weeks 15, 16, 17. This tournament, we kind of want the guy with the highest the highest median projection from a season-long perspective. So, I don't know if I love Jameson Williams. But the thing is, we can't take a running back. We already made the mistake of going through and drafting A.J. Dillon at 109, so we can't get Jamal Williams instead. So, yeah, we'll go Jameson and Jared Goff. We'll do it. Back-to-back $350 drafts where we took Jameson Williams. Let me see what percentage Jameson I have. Watch me have like 10% Jameson Williams and not even realize. %6 Jameson Williams, but an embarrassing amount of entry fees with him. That's not even including this league. So we are underweight Jameson Williams in terms of the amount of drafts, but overweight in terms of the dollars actually spent in those drafts. So it looks like your boy is about to be a massive Jameson Williams fan this next season. Let's go Lions. Let's go Lions. D. Larso, longtime member of the flock, coming out, says 12-team PPR where we have one quarterback, two running backs, two wide receivers, a flex, tight end. We have Dak, Bijan, Brees, Lamb, DJ Moore, Pat Frymuth, Godwin, Kamara, Charbonnet, Bigsby, Condre Miller, Mike Williams, Jahan Dotson, kept in the 11th, Sky Moore. A lot of good players were kept. What are your thoughts? Well, we have so much upside in the long term at running back. We just really need Brees Hall to come on and Alvin Kamara to do something. Early on, we may struggle because Kamara suspended. Brees Hall is probably going to have a small role at the beginning of the season. Zach Charbonnet, Condre Miller, Tank Bigsby, all rookies. So if we can get by at running back at the beginning of the year, I really like the team. We have the Dak Lamb stack. We have DJ Moore and Godwin at wide receiver. We have a strong tight end. I really like the team in the long term. The primary question is, do we have enough running back production in the short term to be able to stay competitive? Like if through the first month of the season, we're 2-2, I consider that a massive dub for that team because all our guys are going to be coming on afterwards. Okay, let's smooth this over. Now, Jacob says, had Taylor got offered JK and Dobbins for Tyreek and Madison, also, what is Kareem Hunt worth? Kareem Hunt's barely worth the raw spot. He's just worth the raw spot. Nothing more. J.K. Dobbins for, okay. J.K. Madison, same tier. We got off for Josh Jacobs for Tyreek Hill. We can't do it. You got to take Tyreek there. Okay, Brock Purdy off the board at 153. Good for us to see all the running backs gone, right? Like, we can't take a running back here. Mingo goes, what is this team doing? They go high. We're just going to take Komet and Osborne. We're going to take 3 tight ends no matter what, even if we go ahead and draft another tight end here at the beginning of the 14th. So maybe it makes sense for us to take Osborne alongside him. If Osborne has a larger role at the beginning of the season before Jordan Addison comes on, maybe he can cover for some of the Jameson Williams weeks. But yeah, now running back, we're rolling with Chubb, Etienne, Mixon, Rashad White, A.J. Dillon. Wide receiver, we have Lamb, Lockett, Godwin, Brandon Cooks, Jameson Williams, KJ Osborne. Tight end, we have Komet. And quarterback, we have Dak double stacked with Lamb and Brandon Cooks. And we have Jared Goff stacked up with Jameson Williams as well. Champagne Fantasy says 10-team full BBR, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 2 flex, 6-point passing touchdown format. What should our strategy be? Should I bother looking at tight ends? say in a league where you have 2 flex spots, not as much as a league where you have 1 flex, but you're still going to be able to easily find wide receiver and running back values later on. So yeah, I mean, I think you want to be well balanced in that format. Diana says 10-team PPR double flex, Lamar, CMC, Ramondre, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Olave, Ingram, Godwin, Scary Terry. And then on the bench, we have Judy, Addison, Njoku, Tyler Algier, Elijah Moore, Bateman, and Swift. What are your thoughts? Great team overall. I feel like we have a lot of depth. If we could somehow, say, package David Njoku and Jordan Addison for a better wide receiver, then parlay that wide receiver and Evan Ingram for Mark Andrews and essentially like a 3-way trade, I'd really like that. But you don't have to make any moves. That's a great team. Okay. Now we have some more tight ends going here at the end of round 14. Not great for us, right? I mean, generally we are wanting to go through and grab some more tight ends ourselves if we can. Now, Percy White coming out says, and real quick, just in case you don't know, Percy White is a long time member of the flock. And let me go ahead and make you a moderator, my man. I have no idea how the hell you're not a moderator already. But 10-team PPR, Jalen Hurts, Bijan, Alexander Madison, A.J. Brown, T. Higgins, Dallas Goedert, Javonte Williams. Bench is Brandon Cooks, Michael Thomas, Khalil Herbert, Dak Prescott, Elijah Mitchell, projected 9th, but I don't get it. Does my team... No, your team's... I really like it. Having the Hurts, A.J. Brown stack while still having Bijan Robinson, such a good spot to be in. The only thing I'd say is if we can somehow find like a Dak Prescott package with one of these wide receivers to go ahead and get an upgrade, that would make sense. Or Dak and Madison to get an upgrade at RB. I would like it just because whenever we have Jalen Hurts, we don't want to be rostering another quarterback, but obviously Dak's too damn good to go through and just cut. Jacob says, yo, you missed my donor, bro. Have a good... I'm sorry, my man. Maybe you just didn't see. I did get to it a little bit ago. Yeah, please just... I go in order for donations. I'm not going to answer it right away, so please just give me a little bit of time, my man. I promise you I'll never miss one. Or I will do my damn best to never miss one. I should say that. Never is a strong word. Okay. Sam Howell goes 173. So Sam Howell now consistently going ahead of Matthew Stafford. I mean, this is the second $350 draft where we saw that happen. Singletary goes 175. Great for us to have the running backs off the board. Let's see what these teams are doing. And Aurora coming out says 14-team league where we have Fields, Jacobs, Gibson, Singletary, Edwards, Bigsby, Kupp, Samuel, Godwin, Evans, Myers, tight end Higbee. Should I trade Evans for a better running back? I actually like that we have both Godwin and Evans on the same team, making that one bet on the Bucs offense. So maybe if instead we could go through and trade like Deebo Samuel for a better running back, I think I would actually like that a little bit more. All right, what are we doing here, tight end, ladies and gentlemen? Do we just go, let's pull the trigger on Dawson Knox and Hunter Henry. Get a tight end here that's going to be an elite level offense in the case with Dawson Knox. Get in another tight end with Hunter Henry that looks to just be one of the primary targets in his own offense, even if that offense is going to be gross overall. So kind of the exact opposite instance, right? Where Knox, tiny role, elite offense. Hunter Henry, large role, horrendous offense. Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's take both these guys together, and hopefully one of our 3 tight ends can do enough for us this next season for us to not be in a horrendous situation. But I believe our next question coming out from Daniel says, team is Jalen Hurts, Josh Jacobs, JT, Devonta Smith, Garrett Wilson, Kittle, Dalvin Cook. Should we trade Jalen Hurts, Devonta Smith, Dalvin Cook, and DeAndre Hopkins for Fields, Etienne, and Ridley? So we'd be moving Hurts at a pretty big loss for Justin Fields. We'd be moving Dalvin Cook for a pretty big gain with Travis Etienne, but I'd still rather have Devonta Smith, right? So honestly, no, my friend, I'm going to keep Jalen Hurts even with that team. I mean, overall, it is just a spot where It's hard for you to move on from Jalen Hurts without someone overpaying you, especially if you have the Devonta Smith stack. But real quick, the dog is literally begging to get up here, so we're going to show off the dog because she will not leave me alone. Come here. I know. Ow. I know you're excited to say hi. I know. They're over there if you want to say hi. Say, drop a like on the stream. Like the stream. You better like the live stream. Okay. Did you get them? Tell them to use promo code FLOCK. Did you tell my little girl? I know. You're a good girl. Okay. You heard the lady, ladies and gentlemen. If you have not done so already, drop a like on this live stream. Use promo code FLOCK on Underdog Fantasy, where we are drafting every single night on this live stream. Not going to miss a single day until 2024. And of course, sign up promo code FLOCK. They're going to match first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, you'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com, where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. And only with promo code FLOCK are you also going to get the exclusive Josh Allen Pick'em special week 1, more than less than half a passing yard against the New York Jets. And also, Underdog is where they have all these season-long pick'ems y'all see in the videos, where I'm sure y'all would be excited to see DJ Moore add 4.5 receiving touchdowns, even though I'll say, stay away. But I know y'all are not going to listen. Now, Oliver says, 8-team 1 flex, trade Judy and Akers for Devonta Smith. Yeah, hell yeah, 8-team 1 flex, do it. Zero Best says 12-team PPR formats. Should I trade Diggs, Brandon Cooks, Quentin Johnson for Lamar, Khalil Herbert, Diggs for Amari downgrade, but I don't really care about the other nonsense. We're essentially trading Diggs for Amari and Lamar. If we don't have a quarterback that we like right now, I'm fine with it. If we're replacing like Dak Prescott, then probably not. But if we're replacing like Kirk Cousins, then probably. Justin says, hey, Mason, feedback, please. 10-team full PPR. We have Lamar, Waddle, Watson, Bijan, Pollard, Kittle, Hopkins, Madison, Bateman, Jamal Mims, Elijah Moore, and Quentin Johnson. I just don't want to be rostering this many wide receivers down there on the bench. I understand that we're in a very comfortable position, especially at running back at the top end. We have an elite quarterback and elite tight end. I love the team. I just probably look to move on from Mims, pick up another running back. Davian says, draft a JT. Do you think he plays week 5? I think more likely than not, Jonathan Taylor plays week 5, but obviously there is a risk in Jonathan Taylor not playing week 5. I mean, that is very much in the range of outcomes, my friend. Deuce Vaughn going 198. And Journey to the Center of the Universe says, 12-team at PBR where we start 3 wide receivers. We have Dak Cousins, Ridley Deontay, Mike Williams, Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, T.J. Hockenson, White, Swift, Lazard. What are your thoughts? If we could trade one of the quarterbacks for an upgrade at wide receiver, I'd like it. But overall, I think you are actually well constructed, specifically for a league where you have to start 3 wide receivers. Okay, we are not looking at running back, ladies and gentlemen. We are honestly just kind of quarterback and wide receiver. I think if it was a Best Ball Mania team, we clearly go ahead and we take 2 more wide receivers at the 17-18 turn. However, with this being a high-stakes, smaller field tournament, I'm actually not going to mind at all going through and taking another quarterback if we get one that we like here at 204, just because the opportunity cost at wide receiver is obviously pretty damn low. Not great for McCole Hardman. Report says Hardman doesn't appear to be in line with the top 3 wide receivers. Oh, that is gross. That's gross. Bryce Young goes 202. Bryce Young's not really who we were looking at anyway. I think Baker Mayfield is the pick that we want, considering we have Chris Godwin, Rachaad White. We already make a bet on that offense. And then I'll let y'all in on the wide receivers that I've been drafting here in round 18. Who do y'all want between Josh Downs, Robert Woods, Wan'Dale Robinson? Can y'all please spam the chat? Who do you want for our final wide receiver? Josh Downs, Robert Woods, or Wan'Dale Robinson, ladies and gentlemen? Let me know. I guess we could go Hunter Renfrow. You can go Hunter Renfrow as well if you want Renfrow. Go. Woods, Wan'Dale, Woods, Downs, Woods, Downs. Okay, so it looks like most people are taking Robert Woods here. So we're going to take Baker Mayfield and Robert Woods. If this was a larger field tournament, then I would go ahead and I'd probably double tap the wide receiver position. But Devon coming out says, should I trade for a better wide receiver? We have Watson, CMC, Jacobs, DJ Moore, Ridley, James Cook, Waller. And on the bench, we have Jason, Hollywood, Warren, Charbonnet, Odell, Burks. We only have one. No, my man, I think you're in a good spot right now. Obviously, we have a lot riding on Calvin Ridley, but I think Calvin Ridley does have the elite level ceiling this next season, which you can be very excited about. But let me show you all this team, and I think that should be it for this live stream. Again, thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out with us in this stream. Of course, we are going to go ahead and live stream more Underdog drafts tomorrow, the next night, the next night, the next night. If you are new to Underdog, please stay in like the $3, the $6 drafts, and get in some of these low stakes practice drafts. Don't be hopping into a $350 one. But if you want to draft an Underdog team with us, you can find that link in the live chat description section, comment section. Promo code FLOCK, 100% of positive match. Plus, you get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, a free trial to flockfantasy.com where you can find our 2023 fantasy football draft guide. And only with promo code FLOCK on Underdog are you also going to get the exclusive Josh Allen pick'em week 1 more than less than half a passing yard. So please make sure y'all are taking advantage of that. But again, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I really do appreciate y'all. And I really hope I get to see you out with the live stream tomorrow night.